Got your headlines coming up on Off the Bench. LSU football stays hot on the recruiting trail, picks up another big-time defensive tackle here locally from the state of Louisiana. We'll tell you about it coming up on Off the Bench. Here are your headlines on this Thursday, August 13th.
Headlines on Off the Bench.
LSU football was featured on ABC World News tonight. Kaylee Hartung, who was here 24 hours ago, was the correspondent down in Baton Rouge, giving the world the view of college football through the national championship lens. Dr. Catherine O'Neill, who is one of the experts with LSU football, was talking about the safety and the safest way to play coming up here in the fall.
What gives me hope is if we can do this safely, we can do everything safely. And I hope that these guys can just be phenomenal role models for the state. We need these guys to be phenomenal role models for the state. If they can, I think that we can all proceed more safely.
Dr. O'Neill was talking about the possibility of canceling.
Canceling football will not cancel their risk of getting the virus. They're still going to go to school. They're still going to go back home and visit with their family. They're still going to be social.
Yeah, so this is, this just goes to what we talked about yesterday, in that what these conferences need, if they want to continue forward, is they need medical voices that run counter to the medical advice that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten got. And so that would appear that that's exactly that.
A player featured in that package by Hartung on ABC World News tonight was Liam Shanahan, the Harvard graduate transfer, who is competing for the center position, was asked about the potential of what playing football means for him this season.
Personally, this is a huge season for me. You know, coming from Harvard, taking the step to LSU, to the SEC, that's a upward step in the football world. And ultimately, with my goals of going to play at the next level in the NFL, this season is huge for me to really perform at a higher level and build my personal stock.
He looks great, doesn't he?
He does.
Look at him. He looks great. Not an ounce of fat on him. That's a center player.
Bob Bowlesby, who is the commissioner of the Big 12, went one-on-one with the Big 12 Network on Wednesday, explaining a lot behind the decision-making process of the Big 12 to move forward.
Well, I think we've been on this process for the last 5 months. We've been seeking as much information as we can. We've been talking to the best experts and doctors and scientists. And so it's been a gradual process. And we always wanted to get to mid-August and see what preseason camp looked like and see what return to campus for the general student population looked like. And so we're now at that point, more or less. And I think the board was anxious to hear from medical professionals, which we did last evening. We talked to a number of cardiologists and pulmonologists and neurologists and people that have been working and researching in the area of COVID-19.
Yeah, if you want some positive news about students potentially returning to campus, Jordy, Notre Dame reopened the campus on Tuesday, and they tested 12,000 students of the general population and had a 99.7 negativity rate. So the majority of the kids seem to be doing the right things at home, coming in clean. We'll see like how this lasts after a month of school being open. I don't want anybody to get too comfortable, but I do think that's the biggest piece, and so that's a positive sign.
Game on. Dabo Swinney, head coach of the Clemson Tigers, was talking after practice yesterday and was asked about this season, the way it's constructed moving forward, what the national championship would feel like.
I mean, no, I think it is what it is. You know, pick the 4 best teams and go play. And, you know, we've been one of those 4 for 5 years in a row. So, in my opinion, it doesn't change anything for us. You know, we're just trying to be the best Clemson we can be. And whoever you play every week, you try to win that game and you try to keep moving forward. You don't have any control over that stuff. So, I don't, you know, when it's all said and done, whoever wins it, wins it. That's the champion. I mean, it's the same way in every sport. Basketball got disrupted, but they're going to crown a champion. Golf got disrupted, but if somebody wins it, they crown a winner. And somebody's going to win the baseball, you know, MLS soccer, you know, they're playing. Somebody's going to win a championship. So maybe it's a shortened season. Maybe it's not as many teams or whatever. But you best believe whoever wins is going to have to earn it. Ain't nobody going to give nothing to nobody. So you can only control what you control.
Shucks. LSU recruiting.
I mean, choosing the basketball angle is a little interesting because college basketball literally did not crown a champion.
It's at the middle of the season. I think he's talking about an NBA.
No, he's definitely is. I'm just saying, it kind of sounds funny.
LSU picked up a big-time future commitment. 4-star defensive tackle Shone Washington committed Wednesday night. Washington, who is a 6'5", 300-pound prospect from New Orleans Warren Easton High School, is rated the number 3 defensive tackle for the class of 2022. According to ESPN, the Tigers landed Washington's commitment over Alabama and Florida. He became LSU's 6th verbal commitment for the class of 2022. The New Orleans Saints announced that they will not have any fans in the Superdome for their Week 1 opener against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, meaning you'll have to watch Breeze and Brady on TV. The Saints added that it's unlikely that we'll host fans in Week 3 versus the Packers, though they will be prepared if anything changes and they continue to work with the government and health officials.
Yeah,
that is a bummer, man. That is a bummer.
You can drive. I mean, I think we've addressed this a couple times, but you really, if you want to just like wallow in sadness, yeah, you can look at this Saints home schedule and realize that. Well, it's not you Pat Mahomes game is still up to play, but it's the most legendary home schedule of Hall of Fame quarterbacks that I've ever seen since covering the Saints, and it's just a cruel twist of fate that maybe fans won't get to see it, or we at least know that the dome won't be at like full dome potential. That said, if these last few days have taught us anything, Jordan, we have to take a glass half full approach. Okay, you know what's better than no football? Any sort of football, even if that means no fans in the dome. But
Orlando Magic and the New Orleans Pelicans meet in their final seeding game of the NBA restart Thursday night near Orlando with depleted lineups and nothing on the line. Both teams will have an eye toward the future. No matter what happens, the Magic will be the number 8 seed and face Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and the Pelicans are coming back home. Orlando was shorthanded for a 108-96 loss to the Nets last time out, who will be the East's 7th seed. That happened on Tuesday night. I don't even know what time that game tips off, T.
It's a game that tens of people will watch. It's very exciting stuff.
Yeah. Would Lou Brown tell the Indians? Dozens of people are waiting out there for us to go out and perform, boys.
Exactly.
7 o'clock tonight or 8 o'clock tonight.
Ingram, Williamson.
Yeah, nobody's playing.
Drew Holiday's out.
Lonzo's the draw.
The only thing is I want them to go ahead and let my boy Josh Hart swipe his card, because they have him listed as questionable with knee soreness. Just call him out. It doesn't matter, dude. You can play anybody tonight. Literally nothing matters about tonight. I said I would watch that last one, so I'm going to say I'm going to watch this. We'll see when push comes to shove if it ends up on my television.
All right, those are your headlines. What's trending here on Off the Bench? We're driven every day by All-Star Toyota. Tune in. We'll answer your food questions coming up. In fact, if you have a food question, send them in. If you're watching on YouTube, we're at the 104.5 ESPN station. If you're if you're inside the huddle, we can take your food questions with the hashtag Munchies. So hop inside there. We'll talk baseball with Chad Durbin coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. OTB rolling on this Thursday. All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brought to you daily by Coy's Diesel. Remember, you can get in and shop Coy's Diesel. CoysDiesel.com. Online, if you need to chat with sales, you can do it right there from the website. If you need to schedule a service appointment, you can do it there as well. Or if you need 24-hour roadside assistance, over at Coy's Diesel, they offer that 24-hour roadside assistance to you. If you drive a light, medium, or heavy-duty diesel truck and you can't get it anywhere, if you can't move, Coy's Diesel can come to you. They have 24-hour roadside assistance, or they're located out in Gonzales on Airline Highway. Stop in and see them, or online, CoysDiesel.com.
Yeah, Dabo was talking about crowning a champion. If you're going to crown a champion of all your diesel vehicle needs, that would be Coy's Diesel, C-O-Y-S. Maybe you're a do-it-yourselfer. Going to shop by part. No matter what kind of diesel vehicle you have, year, make, model, they got it all. It's right there in a little drop-down menu. You can find the exact part that you're looking for. If you need financing, you can do it right there on the website. And again, 24/7 roadside assistance. Go to CoysDiesel.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens.
They've got thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we
conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. Tonight we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar from 6 to 8 p.m. Come down to North Boulevard and say hello or listen here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, stick around. Your food questions being answered here on Off the Bench by Chef Michael Johnson, executive chef over at LSU, stopping by every Thursday here on OTB. Got questions coming in both inside of the YouTube app, if you're watching there at the 104.5 ESPN station. Appreciate everybody for interacting there and finding us there. Remember to subscribe and get notified for everything.
Yeah, subscribe to OTB. We just hit 10K.
All right.
Yeah, tomorrow. You excited?
All right, to watch you eat those wings.
Oh, give me 3 bites tomorrow.
Okay, 3 bites. I can do 3 bites.
You can do 3 bites?
That's a wing. That's a wing.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you were saying, I thought you were saying 1 bite and bail. If you give me 1 whole wing, we're good to go.
How big of a bleep hole are you going to be on the order? Like, what type of wings are you going to order?
The hottest ones we can get.
From where?
I won't even figure that out yet.
Okay.
Remember, the whole
City Cafe.
City Cafe. Ideally, if they don't have it, then we can reach out of there. But yeah, just the hottest ones that we can handle.
Okay.
So
thanks everybody for getting to 10,000.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Once we get to 11, we'll race again.
Hey, chill out.
Oh, okay. I don't like that, do you?
Let's do a bench press competition. How about that?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were celebrating not a lot of news pre-show.
Yeah,
but even though the news, I guess the news is that everything's kind of holding steady.
Yes, like we have reached a point where things have been so doom and gloom lately.
Which, by the way, I'm exhausted on.
Yeah, it's a little.
Like I'm exhausted.
Okay. So there's a Marcus last night when I'm getting ready for the show. I'm drinking bourbon. It's one of the reasons why I woke up so late today. I just got in a notes and bourbon hole. But I came across a quote that I am using for inspiration throughout the rest of this. It comes from Marcus Davenport. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a message inside the Saints building or Marcus Davenport. He said this on his own. But the quote is, "The NFL could be canceled tomorrow, So we're just trying the best we can today. And to me, that is a great reminder to just throughout all of this, to be present, right? To live in the now, that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, be that news good or bad. So let's deal with it when we get there. It reminds me, Jordy, of The Last Dance. In The Last Dance documentary, what did they talk about being one of Michael Jordan's greatest superpowers? That ability to be uncommonly present.
In the moment.
Right? And think about what comes with that. All of a sudden, like, why is he not afraid of the stage? Because he's not afraid of failure. Because he's not thinking about failure. He's not thinking about results. He's thinking about the actions that he's engaged in currently. So he's not letting the fear of failure overwhelm him and his decision making. He is fully committed to the task at hand. So like, yeah, with all this, like you said, I'm exhausted too. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to live in the moment, be very present. And here on this Thursday morning, there was a distinct lack of news yesterday, and that is good news for college football because
I thought the
you
worst
need
news,
everything to kind of hold right now. And the Big 12 holding with you yesterday was massive.
I thought the worst news from Wednesday was that Instagram swiped Boosie's account.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, dude. Come on, Mark Zuckerberg. Get your act together, dude.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Old creepy sunscreen face.
All right, so we're going to talk to Chef Johnson coming up here in a couple of minutes. We'll also talk to Chad Durbin in the second hour. Yesterday, both Bob Bowlesby and Larry Scott were speaking. Scott was on SportsCenter, and Scott is the Pac-12 commissioner. This is a longer soundbite of him explaining the decision, or at least the thought process behind the decision to suspend all sports. This is something that we haven't really focused on the Pac-12's decision. We've really highlighted and talked about football being suspended in the fall and being postponed. But what the Pac-12 has decided on is that all sports are suspended until January 1st. So, I mean, you think about college basketball starts, both women's and men's.
Oh, I assume the Big Ten was the same boat. So in the Big Ten, only football is suspended?
That's what I've seen.
Or just fall sports, not the winter. It's like basketball is unaffected as of now? Okay.
Right. So here's Scott talking about the decision.
This was an extremely difficult and painful decision that we know will have important impacts on our student athletes, coaches, administrators, and our fans. And I know nothing that we can say will ease some of that disappointment, especially for some of our seniors. But we're here today to announce the Pac-12 CEO group has decided to postpone all sport competition through the end of the 2020 calendar year. This decision was made after consultation with athletics directors, our coaches, football working groups, and with the Pac-12 COVID-19 Medical Advisory Committee, who expressed concern with moving forward with contact practice. After reviewing all the data and considering the alternatives, and having already delayed the start of our season and compressed our season, the CEO group was unanimous that this resultant's decision was necessary.
More from Scott yesterday on SportsCenter talking about the scholarships of the athletes.
The student athletes that will be impacted by this, I want to be clear, are going to have their scholarships guaranteed. And we're going to strongly encourage the NCAA to support that with some of their upcoming decisions as well when it comes to eligibility, time to complete degrees, and other related academic issues.
Think you're in a PR twist right now, NCAA? Don't support those scholarships off of a canceled year and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the thing though. They're just going to rubber stamp that. It goes back to, we've talked to so many people lately. Was it Andy yesterday saying that the NCAA's absence and all of this is by design? Somebody was saying that yesterday, and they're right. And the more I thought about it, like, yeah, you could sit here and be critical of the NCAA, but it is set up like this for a reason. These conferences wanted that autonomy, and so yeah, especially with all the Players Association talk going around, the NCAA is not about to not approve something like that. So yeah, I think that'll just get pushed through easily.
Bob Bowlesby, who is the commissioner of the Big 12, was on that network speaking yesterday about some of the problems that commissioners and conferences will face real time and how they're dealing with them.
Well, some of those things are going to have to be done in real time. It's hard to plan forward for them. It was difficult to put our football schedule together. But one of the things we did is we tried to build in multiple bye weekends so that if we have a disruption that prevents us from playing a game, we have reasonable chance of doing the isolation and the quarantining and all of that stuff, and then rescheduling the game sometime down later in the season.
On to talk about Bowlesby went on to discuss the plan in place for outbreaks when they happen in season.
It's hard to know what we will encounter, but I think there will be fits and starts. I think there will be bumps in the road or potholes or whatever you want to call them. Everybody that we talk to tells us the same thing. You're not going to get through a year where you don't have anybody test positive. You can't find yourself in a space where there is literally zero risk. But mitigation of risk, application of best practices, using social distancing, wearing masks in meetings, and whenever you're not actually on the field or in the game, those kinds of things all have been proven to make a difference.
Yeah, and so I find the differences in the two commissioners' talking points there pretty interesting, and because it is all about what is your level of acceptable risk, right? How can you manage it? And it makes sense that the Pac-12 would be saying this because the decision that they made, they need that decision to be correct. But you had like the letter from the USC AD and stuff yesterday where they're saying, like, I don't understand how anybody could possibly read the same information that we read and say that players should play. But then the problem with that is there's a lot of other very smart people, including medical people, that have read that exact same information and do still feel comfortable forging ahead, that with additional hard screenings and other pieces in place, that it is a level of acceptable risk. And that was something else I was kind of struck by as we get more details about how this all went down is the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are painting the hard piece as that final straw, right? That kind of broke their camel's back. Whereas Ross Bjork is kind of saying, like, in the SEC, like, we already knew about this. This, like, none of this is breaking or none of this is new information, and so there just seems to be, and again, this is almost by design because the lack of a central governing power. There's a huge disconnect in how these different conferences are approaching the exact same information.
It is maddening to see the lack of power and or authority that the NCAA either has or is not displaying during this time period, because I think what has been the overwhelming problem as far as the perception of this, because that's a part of the formula, is the perception that is going into whether it be playing or whether it be where is the leadership and where do we turn for answers.
Yeah,
it's been mind-boggling the whole. The cave.
Well, it's a bad look because generally, and I mean, just look at all the professional sports leagues and everything, right? You're used to having that one figurehead. Like, for all the hate you want to levy on Roger Goodell, he does exactly what the owners want him to do. He's a lightning rod.
Yeah.
He takes all the criticism.
And he's a shield.
He's the face for the decision. Yes, he's a shield for them, and then he makes money at the end of the day. So not having that figure in college football has been a bit more interesting. Here's something, it's just like more philosophical. That I don't know what the answer is to. I've waffled back and forth here. Is the lack of central leadership better or worse in this scenario? Because if there was that central leadership, could you still be playing football right now? Or would the case be so convincing from the left side, and would that central leadership be more risk averse as they are in the Pac-12 and Big Ten? And then would the entire season be canceled? Like if you wanted to argue for the current setup of college football, while that lack of uniformity, it can definitely be viewed as a problem, it also does open the door for these conferences to make their own autonomous decision and not be held to something that they maybe don't agree with.
I would vote for a leadership committee. I would vote for some type of leadership, because if anything that this process has exposed is just the disorganization of, I would say, America's second most popular sport.
Yeah, I think. Oh, do the ratings support that? I'm not entirely sure. I believe
just by a judge of the room.
Is college football second to the NFL in ratings? Because, I mean, basketball's not been doing good. And basketball's never really, getting the ratings smashed. There's too many baseball games. I would have to imagine it's America's, at least look at this part of the country, it's our first favorite sport.
Sure. I mean, but I would think even when you stretch that out to a national feel. And I know maybe not a holistically national feel, but the country surely supports and watches college football. It feels like they watch, similarly to the NFL. So, I mean, to see this type of entity that America supports in the way that it does without leadership and just kind of see it flailing in the wind the way it has the past 6 weeks with just the uncertainty around it. I think, if anything that comes out of this process is that there has to be some type of central leadership. There has to be some type of one governing body that you can look at that says, speak for the sport. What is the direction of the sport going to be?
Yeah, and to be fair, to your point, if you had that central body, there's no guarantee that they would have sided with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 here. Like maybe they would be more convinced by the arguments of the other conferences, and then you would still have all of college football going forward because you'd have more uniform leadership. My biggest disconnect,
at least a clear, direct plan.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yes, exactly, right. And the NCAA, there's been no plan the entire time. Again, probably by design. My biggest thing is still what I keep coming back to, when I keep trying to figure out is traveling and playing other teams really risky enough where that's where this big liability line is drawn? Because essentially they're still going to be practicing football if they're not playing games. Like they're still going to be working out. They're going to be in that building, going to be on campus with students. The only difference will be they will be traveling to other schools to play games. And so, I guess just legally, again, if you're a lawyer, I'd love to hear you chime in. Is that really that much of a liability difference where these schools have to be concerned enough to cancel the college football season?
We'll answer your food questions next with Chef Michael Johnson.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Lanois Insurance Agency. Remember, over at Lanois, Lanoix agency.com. Get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David this morning, 749-5640. Online at lanoixagency.com. They can bundle up everything, your insurance payments for savings each month, whether it's your auto, home, business insurance, flood insurance. Online, lanoixagency.com.
LanoixAgency.com, LanoixAgency.com for all of your insurance needs. You want to bundle your home and your auto, or you're a small business owner looking for protection. You got a new house, you want some flood insurance, even if you're not technically in a flood zone, right? Sometimes you have to buy it legally, even if you don't, though. Like I did not, but Lanois got me a policy, max coverage, great rate, peace of mind, a price point that you're cool with paying, and they're always actively out there saving you money. So go to LanoixAgency.com today, make the switch, or just have the conversation. LanoixAgency.com.
Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
This is big. Really big. I mean, really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org.
Yo, join us for a Thursday edition of Hanging with Hester and Handy presented by Richards Honda. We'll be joined by former national championship coach and now part of the SEC Network, Gene Chizik, on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Ba-da-ba-da, cheesecake, munching on a cheesecake, munching on a cheesecake. Cheesecake. A cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake. Cheesecake. A cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake. Cheesecake.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, remember the podcast is always available and brought back to you by Carriages. You can shop that. You can shop their inventory online at carriagesbr.com. Get them on social media on Instagram or Facebook. Carriages is a Baton Rouge staple over on the corner of Jefferson Highway and Old Hammond. Been there since 1982. Every week, a staple here on Off the Bench is Chef Michael Johnson answering your food questions as he is here from LSU, the executive chef, and a pretty renowned fisherman to the listeners here. Chef, thorough disappointment last weekend. I know that you were looking for some good stories. The boys were putting fish in the boat all day, cleaned up on some yellowfin tuna. They actually hooked a marlin, but your boy was sick the entire time. I was a terrible, terrible representative of the show on your water in the Gulf of Mexico. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. My trip was not so bad. We went out and caught another cobia and snapper. We made the trip shorter. It was only a 4-hour trip, but I caught the biggest redfish that I've caught in quite some time, so I called it a win.
Oh, yeah, dude. Red snapper limit just got reached, too, in the state.
Okay.
So enjoy it while you probably had a hand in that, Chef. Congratulations.
I did my best.
Real quick, to help Jordy out next time, do you take anything for seasickness? Like, did you have a routine?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I don't really.
You're a man.
Too much. No.
Yeah,
My brother does. He has these wristwatches that have electric pulse that you put on your wrist, and my daughter went with us one time, and she was suffering something fierce, and she put that battery operated watch on, and within minutes she was up fishing and wasn't sick, didn't feel bad. I mean, if you asked me if there was a remedy, I would check one of those watches out. Yeah.
Voodoo is that?
Tell you what, Chef, that helps me out Thursday after the trip.
All right,
Chef,
let's get into these.
Look, Chef, so the boys did put me on a fish that I had never heard of, and they say that it is the best eating in the Gulf, and it is a golden tile fish. I had never seen it. Danny, I'm going to send you the text message of it right here. They were on an electric reel. That they dropped it down to the bottom, and we could have sat there and caught golden tile all day. Tell me what you know about golden tile and how do you prep it?
Well, tile fish are akin to a grouper. The meat's extremely similar, and it looks a little bit different, but it's built kind of the same, and it's hearty, it's meaty, and they are delicious. My favorite fish in the Gulf is the strawberry grouper, but part of that is because they're kind of elusive. But if you get into the grouper and tilefish family, they're really similarly textured. They tolerate being put over high heat, like on a charbroiler grill or something like that, and it's meaty. It has a firm, fleshy texture. They're right. They're delicious. We served it here a few different times.
Hashtag Munchies. What is your favorite soup to prepare, and are there any general tips to making a hearty soup from scratch?
I like and my mom will probably kill me over this because she's a clam chowder lady, but I like a potato and leek like a vichyssoise, and it depends on what time of the year it is too, right, guys? So if it's in the meat of the summer and it's hotter than hell, I like cold, like a chilled vichyssoise or like a tomato gazpacho or something like that.
Hashtag Munchies. Does chef eat pasta by cutting it up, by twirling the fork to create a ball of pasta, or does he eat it hanging off his fork like Rapunzel's hair?
I guess that depends on how much time I have on my hands. If we're at the nutrition center and working, I'll eat pasta over the trash can, and it's definitely flopping like messy here.
Hashtag Munchies. Chef, can you explain the benefits of a reverse sear on a steak?
This is kind of broadly discussed as to which is better. The reverse sear, basically you cook the steak in a sous vide, and then once it's done, you let it rest and then dry it and put the sear on it. The opposite of that is you sear the steak and put it in the bag and sous vide it and then cook it. And the difference is that the sear can get a little soft and loses a little bit of its texture when you sear it first, and when you sous vide it first and then pull it out and rest it and then sear it, you get a really nice crisp skin on the outside. But the downfall of that is if you don't know what you're doing, you can overcook the steak, leaving the sear on too long.
Yeah. Hashtag Munchies. Argument of the kids in the car this morning. American cheese isn't real cheese. Try something new. What's the best cheese on a grilled cheese?
Grilled cheese? I like good morning, how are you? I like
hell yeah.
Like smoked Gouda. Something that's kind of sharp, like an old aged cheddar is not too bad, but it gets a little greasy. I like soft white cheese, like a Munster even that melts well. Or Port Salut, fantastic.
I can never help myself. Anytime I eat a delicious Gouda, I have to say that's a Gouda cheese.
It's a Gouda.
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Hashtag Munchies. Question from Chef Johnson's dad. Does he know a good recipe for cowboy hash?
Oh my God! So that's an oxymoron right there. My old man calls cowboy hash anything that goes in the pan and comes out of the refrigerator in any sort of different manner. So I don't know that there's a living recipe for cowboy hash.
So what did your old man do? Just any leftovers? Just take it out, throw it in the pan, heat it up, and eat it?
It's basically a clean out the cabinet and throw it in the pan and see what turns out. That's right.
Hell yeah, dude. I respect it. Hashtag Munchies. What's your biggest pet peeve in the kitchen?
Tardiness. In organization, there's a few of them. I definitely want people to be here on time and ready to do their jobs on time. And but working in the kitchen for me is not an easy thing. I keep people busy, and I don't allow them to stand around and talk too much. We stay focused, and if their stations get disorganized, I'm going to jump on it. So,
head coach.
Hashtag Munchies. Cold weather, chili or soup?
I'm a chili guy. I do like chili.
We got a couple. Okay, so I'm going to read these two questions together. One is, do you use wine in your spaghetti sauce? The other is, do you use vodka in any sauces or pasta dishes? And if so, how do you utilize it?
I do use wine in a sauce, and my rule of thumb for cooking with wine is if you won't drink it, it shouldn't be in there. Yes. I don't use cheap cooking wine from the store. I'll use at least some table wine that has a fairly good flavor to it. As far as vodka, the only sauce that I've ever made it with is like a vodka cream sauce where you after you sweat your vegetables and get them nice and translucent, you put the vodka in, you burn it off, and then add your tomatoes and cook it down in it like that. And some people live by it. Vodka doesn't really have any flavor to it really if it's a good vodka. So I haven't really understood the point of it, but it's marketable. People like the idea of a vodka cream sauce, but I don't really prepare it too often though.
Jacob Zachary asks, hashtag Munchies. My Italian wife grew up on Long Island eating North Atlantic steamers off the coast of Maine. Where do I find good clams in Louisiana?
You have to have them imported. My guy, I got a guy that brings them in. You find a reputable seafood place, and they can bring them in for you. But you're going to pay for shipping. To get them fresh and overnight, it's going to be expensive.
I got a guy. Kevin Toller, hashtag Munchies. Is there an ordinary food with a little work you can turn extraordinary?
Well, I mean, if you're a talented chef, of course.
What is well, is there like a cheat to like is it just butter or like what? So just more salt. What's the key there?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what it is. To be honest with you, I mean, you can take a piece of bacon and screw it up in a hurry, or you can wrap it around a fillet and make it something even better. I mean, there's lots of solutions to simple foods. It's putting your mind into it and being considerate of the food. I guess I don't really have an easy answer for that because I'm a complicated guy when it comes to cooking. So
okay, so help me out with this then, chef, because I like to cook. I'm getting more confident. I'm cooking more things all the time. I still don't love my bacon. I cannot figure it out. I tried multiple different techniques. I don't know what it is. Like,
on the stove or in the oven?
On the stove.
I'm literally
on the
sitting
stove.
here with my mouth agape right now. I don't believe what I just heard there.
I know. It's very odd. I feel very inconsistent. I doubt myself. One week I try starting like a cold pan to hot. The next week I try starting a hot. I'm like a man who's all twisted up and turned around. Like, what is?
Have you ever tried shoulder bacon before? Like they have it's almost a Canadian style bacon. It's not as fatty. It's more akin to ham. Sometimes they call it European style bacon. It's more round.
Thick?
You don't like the fat, or what do you not
No.
like?
I love bacon. I don't love how I make it. I'm trying to get a consistent. No. Yeah, please. I mean, come on, chef. No, I love bacon, dude. It's like my favorite thing ever. A good thick cut piece of bacon is incredible. But
okay.
What is your technique for preparing it?
I don't really like fried bacon in the pan. Although I cook it that way at the house, I will lay the bacon out slab bacon and get a better product out of it if you lay it out on a sheet pan and bake it in the oven.
Amen.
How long do you bake it for? Give me temperatures and times here.
Well, if it's thicker cut, it's probably going to take 8 to 10 minutes. If it's thinner cut, maybe 7 minutes.
You don't turn them, do you? You don't flip them?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Here's my rule of thumb: is if you bake it and you start to smell it, then it's damn near done. When you start to smell the bacon in the room, then it's getting close. It means the proteins are coagulating and the magic's happening.
There you go.
And so what temperature, sorry, you said? In the oven?
Sorry?
What temperature in the oven you said?
350.
Okay, cool.
That depends on if you have a convection oven. If you have a convection oven at the house, 350 is fine. If you have a conventional oven, you may want to turn it up to 375.
Okay, 375, 8 minutes. You
375.
can't screw that up.
Yeah, Alice, there you go. Saturday morning, you
Chef
get some
Michael
fire
Johnson,
bacon.
every Thursday here, never get seasick. Also has remedies if you do get seasick that he'll tell you a week later. Good to hear from you. Thank you, sir.
Take care, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Hour one, we'll close it out next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily here by All-Star Toyota. All-Star Toyota is located on the corner of Goodwood and Airline, where they've been since 2005. 3 departments open and operating for you right now. Sales department, service department, and collision all going for you. Online, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. You want to shop new car inventory, you want to shop pre-owned or certified inventory, you can shop all the models over at All-Star Toyota. If you're looking for a hybrid model, they can get you into one today. If you want to lease that vehicle, stop by and check out Aaron Piku and his sales team. They can get you into one today. Online, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
Allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Okay, it seems like I was way behind the curve with this bacon in the oven thing. And if you feel like you're way behind the curve with the vehicle purchasing process, why don't you hit up our friends over there at All-Star Toyota or anybody in the All-Star family. 13 brands here in Baton Rouge for you. They guided me through the new car process. I ended up in a minivan, and I literally have never been happier. AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Saints are on the practice field, and looks like we're going to have an SEC season. We'll talk about it with Mike D. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, stick around. Hour 2, Off the Bench. We're going to talk to Chad Durbin here on OTB, as we appreciate Chef Michael Johnson for stopping by in that last segment, answering your food questions. Remember, our podcast is brought to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Musso, can you hear that in your ear? No? Tell you what, man. Sometimes I want to take this surface and throw it out in the middle of Government Street. Why even have it? Why even give the option to the host if 99% of the times it's not going to work and make us look like a goofball in the air?
Maybe you answered your own question.
I'm speaking out loud. Danny, can you play it from your dock? Do you think that it will? Do you think that it will reverberate over the air and be bad radio? Yes or no?
We could try.
We're going to try it? Musso, you're not, I can tell you don't like this. All right, you don't like it. So what do we need to do here? What's our procedure?
I can send it to me during break and I can record
it. No, I want to try it now with Danny.
Let's try to play it. I got topics we can switch to immediately if it goes wrong.
So Lil Boosie was canceled on IG. He had his Instagram page taken down. This feels a lot like the Off the Bench Facebook page, where one night we go to sleep and we have over 6,000 followers. We've got a collection and library of videos, photos, and live shows that have originated there for years, and then we wake up the next morning and it is just gone.
Yeah.
Just kapoof.
Really
gone.
Drives home how how beholden we are to our tech overlords.
So Boosie, if you've listened to Off the Bench, we have encouraged, especially during quarantine, anytime he goes live on IG, that you would that you would be a part of the crowd. It seems like Instagram and Mark Zuckerberg, as Boosie called him, has canceled his page. Here we go. Danny. Go.
They just took my Instagram.
Other news and NFL news. How about this, dude?
Mark
Damn it.
Zuckerberg.
You're upset about that? Well, how about this? The Cowboys just signed Everson Griffin to a 1-year, $6 million deal. Everson Griffin, remember, we talked about him a lot.
Is Jadeveon Clowney still in the street?
He is still in the street, but he wants more than that. He ain't played for 1 year, $6 million. If he was, I think a lot of teams would be. I mean, that feels incredibly cheap for Everson Griffin.
It does.
Think about this.
It does.
Not only is he a 4-time Pro Bowler, and yes, I know that he went through some mental health struggles a couple of years ago that caused him to miss some time, but I've read a lot about it. He's very upfront about it. He says he needed to do it. He had a lot of experiences in his life that he had been holding inside of him, that he finally addressed all these things, right? And then look at what he did last season. So he went through that, and then he came back last year, 8 sacks, 41 tackles, 11 TFLs, 24 quarterback hits. I'm not saying those are like, all world numbers, but that's way higher numbers than 1 year, $6 million. And then when you think about teaming up him with DeMarcus Lawrence, you think about those numbers potentially getting even better. And if you're a fan of great line play, and you just think about a Cowboys-Saints matchup, watching those two go toe-to-toe with Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk, that would be a battle that I would be down to watch. Now, it would have to happen in the playoffs, given they don't play on each other's schedule this year. But, unfortunately, as much as it pains me, the Cowboys got better yesterday. But tell me if you agree with this. I thought if I heard a price point like that a few weeks ago, I would have been upset with the Saints for not matching, not trying the same thing. But I will say this, because it is super cheap. I've come around to the idea that the Saints really believe in Marcus Davenport this year.
Feels like they do.
I've come around to the idea that they believe in him to the point, and then you still have Hendrickson, you have some other depth guys, but you believe in him to the point that they don't want to pay a $6 million pass rusher because they want it to be Cam Jordan and they want Marcus Davenport. They want to be those two to be your main producers. So although this is a great deal for Dallas, I'm actually okay with New Orleans not extending this same deal because I think everything we've heard from people who cover the team and from what the Saints have said publicly points towards them thinking that Marcus Davenport is set up to have a really good year.
13 games last year. He was phenomenal, and it felt like he was coming into his own when the Liz Frank injury popped up 13 games into the season. So it feels like he is ready to bust out if he can stay healthy. I'm with you. Hour two.
Speaking of busted, I mean that's all Boosie's got to avoid. He's getting a little too sexual on the gram. He's got to back it off a little bit.
He's usually after hours. He's usually after hours.
Yeah, but
he's not in that prime window.
They're strict on that policy. This ain't the FCC. Don't matter when.
Mark Zuckerberg.
So help me God, if Mark Zuckerberg sees a single female nipple, he will lose his mind. Boosie, you got to learn the rules, dude.
Or here's a piece of licensed music.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Daily here on Off the Bench. We are brought to you every single day by Ochsner Sports Medicine Program over there. 3 locations in the listening area, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Covington. Appreciate Dr. Jeremy Burnham for stopping by earlier today. We were talking about athletes playing and performing in the moment. And we always tell you about Warren Fitzmaurice, who's down at the New Orleans location. And Fitzmaurice is a mental coach for athletes. And he was talking about how he always advises his athletes to stay in the moment. And you can't control the uncontrollables. Warren Fitzmaurice is a mental coach.
How about that?
Down at Ochsner, online, ochsner.org.
Be present, just what we talked about earlier. Also, I went to the Grove over there at Ochsner, Jordy. We were going through this process, touring the facilities, and we even did a gait analysis on me.
Big boy.
Like, that's the level of unlocking potential that they are trying to achieve down to how you walk and run. Go to ochsner.org, get bigger, stronger, faster.
Boy.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Thursday, August 13th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see afternoon storms with a high of 91. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. Still to come on Off the Bench, former big leaguer Chad Durbin joins the show at 8:30. Follow the show inside the 1045 ESPN Huddle app, brought to you by Bayou Ford on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Join us on the YouTube live stream. The 1045 ESPN channel is where we are. Make sure to subscribe and get over to the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Subscribe and set your notifications for new content posted every day. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off and at it, Off the Bench, Hour 2, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria, online at 1045ESPN.com. Daily, we are brought to you by All-Star Toyota. Remember, if you missed Hour 1, it's brought to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Shop them online, carriagesbr.com. We talked to Chef Michael Johnson, who was answering all of your food questions. Good interaction today. Always appreciate that interaction. Did we get the picture of the golden tile up? This is Drew Landry.
Hey, that's a pretty looking fish.
I'm telling you, T. I've never seen this. I've never heard it. I mean, look at the eyes on this thing.
Yeah.
But it was caught on an electric reel, dropped down to the bottom of one of these shelves.
What's an electric reel? It just reels itself up?
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of.
That's kind of like.
I hear you.
Soft, dude.
I hear you,
I mean, what are we doing at this point?
That's it.
Like.
Yeah,
Well, like what? Like
I didn't have the strength to point and laugh, but I kind of thought to myself, are we really fishing?
Yeah, exactly. Like at what point does the human element come in? Is it you might as well just be a robot?
Like going to these deer hunt, these deer camps with these deer hunters, and they put you in one of these blinds, and the feeder comes on.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's kind of like
deer
target
just comes
practice.
walking out like, that's it.
That's why back when I was in college, I used to love those Jared Allen videos. And I'm not a hunter. And to be clear, I have no problem with going to a deer stand and, using a feeder to kill deer. I would love that. I'd have venison for the entirety of winter. But I do remember Jared Allen back in the day was very he was very kind of anti making it as easy as possible. And so, yeah, he would go like spear hunting by hand on purpose, to where he'd be like sitting in a tree with only a spear, and you got to lure him in, and then you got to spear him. And yeah, that's some like ancient caveman type of hunting.
It's the type of stuff I would never do, but I got mad respect for.
Yeah, same here. I'm too lazy.
Yeah,
like
sure.
if push came to shove, I'd be like, put me in the stand.
Nope.
I want to maybe, chill out a little bit.
Put me back with the one with the feeder.
Do some fun things, relax.
Musa, let me know when we have the Boosie audio. We're ready to go? Okay, wow. It was confirmed that Boosie has been banned from IG.
Damn.
And we talked to his personal assistant, Big Lou Gibbons, in the break. We asked if we could get Boosie on. He kind of laughed at the time right now. Said it is a little early. I thought we could catch Boosie on maybe the
Is he on the
back
East
end of a
Coast
late
timeline,
nighter.
though?
He's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't really start his day till about 11 or noonish.
Damn.
Which, like I was telling you as we close out hour one, all of the IG lives are done in a time-friendly window.
Yes. But like we said, Mark Zuckerberg's hate for the female nipple knows no time limits.
This was Boosie's plea last night to Mark Zuckerberger, as Boosie calls him.
They just took my Instagram. Mark Zuckerberger, I need to talk to you. Bosses need to talk to bosses. I don't know what I did, but I need my Instagram back. I don't even know what I did. But this is how I feed my family. Mark, do not do this to 2020. Do not take Boosie off Instagram. We need to talk, Mark. You need to take me to orientation or something, but you can't put me out of school. This is how I feed my family. We ain't making no show money, Mark Zuckerberg, none of the rappers. I need my Instagram back, man. Mark, I need my Instagram back. Mark Zuckerberg. I told everybody, call Mark Zuckerberg, add him right now.
Add him.
Tell him, call my assistant, we need to talk. I need my Instagram. I got people money I gotta post.
So, I mean, real talk, I talked about being beholden to the tech lords that rule our lives, but like, that kind of drives it home right there. I mean, a lot of that's funny, but 3 times he did go back to like, hey man, look.
Feed my family.
Yeah, like this is how I'm making my bank right now. And you're messing with that, Mark. I don't know. I'd want to be on Boosie's bad side. No, if anybody can protect it, Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sure has infinite resources at this point. But come on, like somebody from Instagram's got to be able to hook up Boosie with an explanation.
I would think so.
If even he can't get an explanation, like what chance do any of us mere mortals stand?
It is it's a bad day for the social media live game, as you heard Boosie's plea there.
I did love, do not do this to 2020.
Yes.
like 2020's
Come on, man.
been
We've
bad
suffered
enough.
And that also is coming from a man who is he's been kicked out of a couple of schools, huh? Look, man, don't throw me out. Bring me back for the orientation, something, man.
Yeah, he
don't
just
throw me out on the streets.
I don't know if orientation is exactly what he's looking for. Maybe like some sort of not like sensitivity training, but something more along those lines. They're gonna have to explain to him that you can't have girls performing explicitly sexual acts on your Instagram. It's owned by Facebook. Look, Twitter's the Wild West. You can get away with all of that. There's a thriving adult community on Twitter if you are into that sort of thing. Insta don't play those games. You can be on there. And like I said, and that's a great weird disconnect on Insta and the weird American cultural hang up on the female nipple. You can literally show everything else on the Instagram, right? You can get as revealing as you want as long as we're not seeing any areola. But so help me God, if we see a little bit, that's a wrap. You're done.
Cash App. Boosie's IG Live. We got to get it back,
Look,
man.
somebody out there listening works for Instagram. You can help our guy out. It's like when Rivers got her Twitter taken down for no reason. And then
she went on a crusade, though.
Yeah, but our girl Karen Howell's the one who ended up being able to come through for her because she knew somebody at Twitter who then was able to look up the case and get it expedited. If you don't know someone directly, you're just dealing with robots, algorithms, and the math gods.
We should pull some strings and see if we can't get Nakamoto on it. Like get Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ, you know, the investigative guy that shows up at your door and knocks on the door, and everybody's like, "Holy bleep, Nakamoto's here! Everybody hide!"
You go chase down Mark Zuckerberg to figure out what happened.
Bro. I mean, look, everybody's looking for a story. The locals want to know, man.
Like Boosie said, man, 2020, we need our entertainment. Don't do this 2020, Mark Zuckerberg. Come on.
You think they're going to play college football?
We're living in the present. Remember, we are, and as it stands today, you have a triumvirate that is standing strong. Later in the show, I'm going to go on a long spiel about the first triumvirate back in Rome, but that'll be a little history lesson for fun at the very end of the show. Right now, yes, when I look at college football, as long as you remain in the majority, I think you're in a good spot. And obviously, as we said yesterday, what happens when the students come back? That's the other massive piece in all of this, and what new data points are revealed in that. Because that's what all these three conferences have been saying. Is like, look, we're not saying that they're wrong to cancel, but we're going to wait. Like, we want to have all the information available. And that's why yesterday, the Big 12 announcing that they were going to stay the course, that was big. That was big. Because as I said, I think you need to remain in the majority. They are the swing vote. You've got your other sides already posted up. They know how they feel. The Big 12 could decide how this thing eventually goes because, and the only reason I say that, because, look, the SEC could be the only conference that played if they really wanted to. Sankey acknowledged that. But in that same interview in which he acknowledged that, he said just because you could do something doesn't mean you should do something. And he said that if nobody else is playing, he's not sure that it would be the wisest decision for them to play. So in this age of liability concerns, in this age of trying to be risk averse in this entire situation, we talked about the pressure that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 put on you yesterday. There is strength in numbers when it comes to fighting against that pressure. Because all of a sudden, if you're the lone dog and then somebody goes wrong, I mean, then you are completely screwed. But if you're in the majority and something goes wrong, then that responsibility is kind of it's kind of spread out a little bit.
We have talked about we have discussed how LSU football has been really at the forefront of safety protocol over the last 2 months by Shelley Mullenix and the crew over there. Mullenix may have had the most important job on campus, or maybe even in the state, the last couple of weeks, as far as keeping the LSU football team healthy and building an environment that they could show up to every day, that procedures were set in place to make sure that environment stayed safe for the long term. ABC World News Tonight highlighted some of what LSU has been doing over the last couple of months. Kaylee Hartung, who is a local from Baton Rouge, she's an Episcopal graduate, is now working for ABC News, but she's got a little bit of a different perspective. And we talked to her yesterday here for a couple of minutes, and she was over at LSU doing a couple of her stand-up hits for Good Morning America. But as we all know in this listening audience, Kaylee was a sideline reporter for ESPN and college football and also college basketball on ESPN, and has great relationships within the industry, within college sports, whether it be with head coaches or whether it be with athletic directors and decision makers. So to see her reporting from Baton Rouge over the last couple of days was very strong for what LSU has going on. It gave the world an opportunity to see people like Dr. Mullenix, Shelley Mullenix, and Dr. Catherine O'Neill, who is the expert that LSU is relying on heavily as far as the data goes of being able to get on the field and stay on the field. Here is some of what was aired on ABC's World News Tonight with Hartung and what Dr. O'Neill was speaking about LSU football and what they're dealing with present day.
Whether we need to watch it in our houses this year or whether we get to tailgate is not important. What's important is that we have some hope.
More from O'Neill talking about this season.
What gives me hope is if we can do this safely, we can do everything safely. And I hope that these guys can just be phenomenal role models for the state. We need these guys to be phenomenal role models for the state. If they can, I think that we can all proceed more safely.
One more from O'Neill talking about the possibility of canceling the season.
Canceling football will not cancel their risk of getting the virus. They're still going to go to school. Yeah. They're still going to go back home and visit with their family. They're still going to be social.
That's kind of what I keep coming back to. is if the only difference in playing football and not playing is going to be traveling and playing other teams. And if you can prove that that's not going to expose you to as much risk as maybe some would think, like if you just look around, Jordy, the numbers are really positive out of a lot of these schools that have really tried hard. I mean, I mentioned
Michigan.
Notre Dame. Notre Dame laid out a potential case for not just the return of football, but the return of students, that it might work out a little bit better. In Notre Dame's latest testing data, they tested just recently, a couple days ago, they tested 117 football players, entire team. Only 2 tested positive. Overall, through the entirety of summer, they've tested 619 players. Only 4 came back as positive. It's a 99.4% negativity rate. Well, that's actually been mirrored in the student population. They're opening school, I believe it's next Tuesday. It may have been this Tuesday. I didn't check the date on when I read this. But they're opening school, and before the students came in, they wanted to see where everybody's at. They tested 12,000 students. 99.7 of them, percent of them tested negative. So, like, and to be clear, that means that they've been really good. These students have about being responsible at home and masking, distance, whatever. I'm interested to see, after a month of them being on campus, what happens. Mm-hmm. But if you want to talk about good data points to make you feel better about that crucial piece of students returning, there it is. And then if you look at, did you see some of the NFL data?
I did.
That was coming out. And granted, the NFL is like, as you said on Hard Knocks, right? I mean, they're going above and beyond, right? It's next level. But as I try to find where I put it in my notes, here it is. So far in the NFL, positive test rates across all personnel. This is with over 109,000 tests they have already done up to this point. The positive rate is at 0.46%. Even when players originally arrived, that positivity rate was only at 2%. So, like, players did what they needed to do in the offseason. You're seeing a lot of people accept personal responsibility. And you're seeing that on the pro level. You're seeing that in different colleges. And that gives me hope that for as much as we sit here and argue that maybe some of these young people are on a little bit more of the same stage and that maybe you can get through this with keeping these numbers very low.
We will talk Major League Baseball, baseball as a whole, with Chad Durbin coming up in 15 minutes on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, online dgbauto.com. If you're in an accident or need collision repair, remember Donaldsonville Glass and Body ready for you. In fact, if you're in an accident and the vehicle can't be moved from the site, they offer 24-hour towing that they'll come pick you up and bring it right back to the shop. Remember, it's not up to the insurance agent. It's not up to the insurance holder where you take your car to get fixed. It's your vehicle. Go to Donaldsonville Glass and Body, online dgbauto.com.
Go to dgbauto.com, donaldsonvilleglassandbody.com. Find them on Facebook at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Look, the single most important thing about DG&B and where to me they separate from other shops. I mean, the quality of the work is awesome. The collision repair, best in the state. I'll put that on anything. But it ultimately is the trust that you can have. They are not trying to maximize profit. They are trying to maximize your satisfaction, knowing that then you will be, you'll want to come back. And so you can trust that they're not going to try to exploit you or get one over on you. Go to DonaldsonVilleGlassandBody.com.
The AL East leading New York Yankees face off again against their longtime rival, the Boston Red Sox.
Coverage begins Saturday afternoon at 5:30 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
104.5 ESPN invites you to take a short quiz for a chance to win a brand new EU1000 generator from our friends at Bozeman Distributors. Simply go to 1045ESPN.com now through August 16th and take the quiz to see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz is automatically entered to win the generator. Our winner will be chosen on Monday, August 17th. Get prepared for hurricane season from 1045 ESPN and stay prepared with Bozeman Distributors.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. Tonight we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar from 6 to 8 p.m. Come down to North Boulevard and say hello or listen here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU football picks up another commitment for the class of 2022. A big one, as Sean Washington is the latest, a four-star out of Warren Easton High School in New Orleans, chose LSU over Alabama and Florida. He had to sit out last season due to transfer rules. But his freshman film definitely jumps off, and to see him commit to LSU early on. Tigers in class of 2022 are stacking it up, as we talked about Walker Howard, the big-time quarterback from St. Thomas More, as he is the headliner of that group. I know Will Campbell, who is the number one offensive tackle in the country up at Neville High School in that same recruiting cycle, is big on LSU, and then Sean Washington, who's going to be the number one defensive tackle in the state next season. After Mason Smith makes his pledge for 2021, 2022's top defensive tackle. Washington, 6'5", 300 pounds, from Warren Easton, decided last night he's coming to LSU over Alabama and Florida. So the rich get richer as Ogeron at a position of need. His position that he coaches every single day, the defensive line, gets another one, and this is a big-time player in Washington.
Yeah. Now, to be clear, we were talking about the 2022 class. So this is a ways out, right? Yeah, nothing like...
He's going into his junior year.
We got a little minute here before we'll know if this sticks. But as it stands right now, LSU, look, you always want to try to be ahead of the curve. In the 2022 class, they have 6 commits. 5 of those commits are in the top 250, meaning that LSU has the number one class in the nation for 2022 right now. 2021, Jordy, couple commits. I'm not a big recruiting guy, right? I'm trying to get Shay on for the third hour, asking about some of this, but I'm a little concerned when I look and I see Florida creeping up to number 6 in the nation in recruiting, just because I feel like Florida's a team who, they don't recruit poorly, right? But they never feel like they hang with the elites of the elites, and neither has Dan Mullen. in his time, but he still gets so much out of his teams. I become a bit concerned about a Dan Mullen team that is maybe like consistently stacking top 6, top 5 classes.
Well, you got to look at the backyard he's recruiting in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's recruiting in maybe the healthiest state, maybe
Ever?
the healthiest state in America. To
Yeah,
recruit.
like ever.
Yeah, I mean, in Florida.
I mean, per capita, I'll take Louisiana, but you just got numbers.
Sure.
Florida. You just got guys to go around.
Right. I mean, you can find everything you need in one state, as you can find a lot of it in New Orleans. In Louisiana.
Can't find any O-linemen, but
with LSU,
you can find everything besides O-linemen right now.
And they've done a great job of finding those guys, identifying them around the country, and going to get them. But I think you beat Jamar Chase. You beat Florida for Jamar Chase. At one point, he was committed to that Florida staff. So I think Florida's always been a player when it comes to recruiting. But now Mullen obviously has an identity on what he's looking for.
I'm not saying they're bad. I mean, compared to the rest of the country, they're good. But they're not constantly jockeying in the top 5. To see them finally add a 5-star yesterday and then move up to number 6 overall, it's just like, okay. And obviously the impact of that won't be felt, honestly, for a couple of years. I guess it's more of like an overall a thought of, on the horizon, I am a bit concerned about a Dan Mullen caliber of coach being given that much higher of a talent level over years than he was given when he was at Mississippi State. I mean, I think all LSU fans have a little bit of like I guess fear is maybe the word, or maybe it's a healthy respect for what Dan Mullen can do to you on a football field.
Sure, absolutely. I think they absolutely look at Mullen over in Florida and see him as a threat, especially somebody
bigger threat than Kirby
from an East. Yeah, I was about to say somebody from an Eastern standpoint that gives you more threat than what Georgia has right now, because it feels like the power in the East may come back to center a little bit between Florida and Georgia this year, and maybe even the Gators have a chance if they can win that game.
I got to see. Oh man, this is bad that I don't know this off the top of my head. I got to re-look up who Florida and Georgia got added to the schedule respectively and how that affects their chances, because one of Florida's biggest advantages it was the schedule. But I mean, if we're talking about teams from the East to fear, Eli Drinkwitz, LSU and the Tigers got to take on Missouri. I mean, look, I don't want to complain, but geez, you got to go to Vanderbilt a second year in a row, then take on Drinkwitz in year 1.
What the hell are you going to complain about?
I don't want to complain, but that's really tough. That's really hard. It's like,
I mean, we had Verge on
really
Monday.
Hard to do.
We had Verge Allsbury on Monday, and the way that college football news was circulating and moving last weekend, the way that we set the interview up was celebrating on Friday afternoon, talking about getting him on Monday morning, because LSU had just gotten their first win of the season by adding Missouri and Vanderbilt as their as their +2 to the current schedule. We thought that LSU had just picked up their first victory of the year by the scheduling meeting, and then everything over the next 48 hours looked like college football was not going to exist. But as we speak in the present tense, and we're here speaking in the moment.
Okay, Florida got a bit of a mixed bag. Florida's going to add A&M and Arkansas, so A&M's tough. Arkansas is as easy as you will find in the
I love that
in the
Texas
SEC.
A&M.
Let's see which. Yeah, I know.
I love that for A&M.
Dude. Let's see which
So
opponent.
that
Georgia
argument we had a couple of weeks ago, you should be irrelevant by now. What, week 3? Since the schedule's now, is it not backloaded anymore? Is it?
I don't know.
Change around?
Have we gotten it? That's a great question. I don't believe we've gotten an exact
date.
date.
So is LSU opening with Ole Miss? That's not confirmed.
I don't think we have exact dates on
confirmed.
any of this yet.
Okay.
But they will open with an SEC team, which is cool. Like I'm a big fan. I hate warm-up games. I mean, I guess I don't hate them. They have their place.
Yeah, but give me the LSU Oregons. Give me the
LSU. I do
LSU.
like the kind of nuts on the line. Like,
I love that.
You get no preseason. Who can get their team better ready to play a game without actually playing a game. Like, I like the challenge and the skill that involves.
I agree. How many Pac-12 football players has Lane Kiffin called?
Okay. Georgia got a better slate than did Florida. Georgia added Mississippi State in a road game against Arkansas.
Yeah, they win that.
Now.
But they have to play Alabama. Does Florida have to play Alabama?
No.
Just
No.
Georgia. So
Yeah.
Georgia's got to play
Yeah.
Alabama.
So on the whole, Florida probably still has an easier schedule. And I don't know, man, Mike. I'm not saying Mississippi State's going to be good, but Leach and Costello, two guys that have a ton of experience. Of course, KJ Costello transferring over into the SEC. Like,
no, it's a wild card.
They're a puncher. They're
Exactly.
like
It's a wild
they're a
card.
guy that can punch up and maybe catch you on the chin and knock you out.
I believe that. I mean, I think that they're a wild card right now because you just don't know what to expect with Leach and what he's going to do, and you know the big games, especially against these defenses that are going to have the reputation like Georgia's defense does coming into that game, that they're unstoppable and one of the best in the country.
It's what everybody's saying this year, is that they're supposed to be the best.
So we'll see. It will be curious to see that. I was thinking last night with Lane Kiffin's connection. We just brought up Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin's connection to the West Coast and the Pac-12 and the news that they had made earlier this week by canceling the season. How many players do you think he's called from that league? Allegedly, because that is a recruiting violation. I don't know anything, and I doubt that he's done. But I mean, I got to imagine that Ole Miss has touched base with a lot of people.
I think people are kicking the tires through maybe some underground means on guys. I've been asked that a lot lately. I don't know the exact rules, and that's something that I'm sure Shay could help us fill us in on an hour 3. But the exact rules around could these players transfer, et cetera, et cetera. Now there is all these funny kind of Justin Fields jokes about Justin Fields to LSU and everything. But even in saying those jokes, LSU has been very clear that they're riding with their guy in Miles Brennan.
Chad Durbin talking baseball next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Central Plumbing Company, online centralplumbing.org. Remember, get in touch with them at 925-8552. They're online at centralplumbing.org. You can find them there if you need residential or commercial plumbing services. They can help you out this morning. In fact, if you need a full-service generator, a full-home generator, they can help you out with that as well. Online, centralplumbing.org, 925-8552.
925-8552, centralplumbing.org. Go to centralplumbing.org today for all your plumbing needs. Doesn't matter what it is. Central Plumbing's a one-stop shop, and they've been at it for 40 years, okay? So they've seen it all, meaning they can fix it all. You got a beautiful old house with a ton of character. It might come with a ton of problems as well. Well, any plumbing problems, Central Plumbing's got you covered. You have a new home that you run into some issues with. That's incredibly frustrating, but let Central Plumbing ease your frustration by fixing your problems without you lifting a finger. Licensed, bond insured, flat rate pricing, a great warranty for peace of mind afterwards. 925-8552, centralplumbing.org.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast.
Yo, join us for a Thursday edition of Hanging with Hester and Handy presented by Richards Honda. We'll be joined by former national championship coach and now part of the SEC Network, Gene Chizik, on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, remember online, 1045ESPN.com, the YouTube station. You can search us there, Off the Bench. Make sure you are subscribed and notified for everything that's coming up. Chad Durbin, who is with us every Thursday, is talking. He talks Major League Baseball predominantly, but we can talk anything with Derb. Says he is a huge sports fan, and he's with us here on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Derbs, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, man. I'm good.
Where are you right now as far as feeling that college football will exist in the fall?
I feel like the SEC and the Big 12 are going to do it, and maybe in the first hour, you had a quote or somebody talking about like these kids are going to be on campus. These kids are going to be, going back home, regardless of whether they play football or not.
Yeah.
I understand there's risk involved with anybody going to Target or school or anything like that, and I think there's a patience that's being kind of plugged into this with the SEC and some of the other conferences that haven't made decisions early. So I'm my fingers are crossed. I got other things crossed too. I'm just trying to hope and pray that they play.
You were a multi.
It's a
you
medical
were
condition if your nuts get twisted up like that, Derbs. You
Well,
should be careful.
I didn't want to say it. But you said it.
Like twisted nuts, that's a thing. You have to go to the hospital if that happens. Be careful.
You were a multi-sports star at Woodlawn. Do you see an opportunity or a possibility that a football league could exist in the spring?
Man, there's so much to that. Baseball lost its season last year. Would essentially lose a lot of players to that again in the spring. If you're talking at the high school level, talking about the collegiate level, I think it can happen. Yeah, it would. You would have a lot of kids that need or a lot of programs that need to restructure the rest cycle. You get time off when it's annual and you have your regular routine schedule. They would absolutely, guys like Moffitt, guys smarter than all of us, would sit down and decide what the best plans for that were. But, anything that puts these kids in a position for upward mobility, the guys that put all that work in to get to this spot where they are right now and everything's kind of in limbo, whatever's best for these kids.
Talking to World Series champ Chad Durbin, put some respect on his name like Dame Lillard asked for. Hunt Palmer in the huddle asked Derbs, will the Cubs ever lose again?
He's so happy right now he doesn't know what to do with himself. They're really good, and they're playing good baseball. And in a short season, the more games you win, the closer you are to being in that expanded playoff. And you get hot late, you get a ring, and who cares about an asterisk if you're the champ?
On I guess the counter to that, will the Red Sox ever win again? Musso wants to know.
They still have a big league club?
Yeah, I mean, check this out. I mean, today, what is this? What is this? August 13th, the Boston Red Sox literally have the worst record in the AL.
Shout out. Tank for Kumar. Let's go.
Hey, look, they consistently, over these last 15 years, 16 years, have found a way about every 2 to 3 years to be not good, but excellent. And then follow it up with just laying turds all over the place. So, whatever they're doing, if you win a championship about once every 3 or 4 years right now, who cares what happens in the middle there. It sucks. It's hard to be a fan and watch, but yeah, I'd sign up for it right now if the LSU Tigers won one every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's right. Durbs, I didn't know who Joe Kelly was until he threw a ball through
let
his...
the Tigers go 3-5 in the SEC and see how the fan base feels about that.
Sandwich with a couple of natties?
I feel you, but the intervening years would be drama-filled.
That's true.
Hey, it'd be good for talk radio.
It'd be great for us.
Durbs, I didn't know who Joe Kelly was until he threw the baseball through his master bathroom window in the offseason. And then here early on in the resumption of Major League Baseball or the Major League Baseball season, he has become a star. He was on a podcast yesterday talking about how he believes that the Astros are nothing but a bunch of rats and how they're not good for baseball.
I love that he's not even calling them cheaters. He's pissed that they told on him.
Yeah, he's kind of pissed that. Well, he thinks that they took a deal with Major League Baseball where they are being protected, but obviously A.J. Hinch and the executive team for the Houston Astros are the ones that are taking the fall for the players. Is what Kelly is what ultimately was saying on the podcast. Do you get the feel now that we talked about this and now it's happening? But it's now the Astros versus the world.
Yeah, this is inevitable. I think maybe the media even forgot that the players, these guys are motivated human beings. They are competitive as hell and need chips on their shoulder to go compete sometimes. And you remember watching The Last Dance. I mean, not that all these guys are Michael Jordan, but there's a lot of Michael Jordan in these guys that get to the big leagues. And sometimes you got a target on somebody's head just to get motivated to get to the gym and just get motivated to get on the mound. And right now, the Astros are motivation for the rest of these guys. And Joe Kelly happens to be one of the mouthpieces. I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's fun that baseball's getting, into the talk radio circuit with stuff like this going on. The Astros are going to have to figure out how to handle this type of shrapnel, and it's going to make them better. These kids are going to be better players for it. As time goes on, but it is what it is, man. They're the Yankees right now, and the Yankees didn't get caught doing what they're doing.
Is it weighing on Altuve when you see him play? I mean, his numbers are obviously down. He looks like a different player at some points out there. How much do you put this on that?
I think there's definitely an element to that. Everybody goes through periods of time in their life where they doubt themselves, or they these guys are driven for approval, and right now they're not getting the same amount of approval, from their peers or from the fans that they got previous to this. So it's an adjustment period. Most of those players are pretty young. They're going to be able to bounce back. They're phenomenal baseball players. So this is an adjustment period. This is going to make them better.
Chad, so it's kind of crazy, man. We waited so long for sports to come back. You look up now, and you're about a third of the way through this season. And has anything stood out to you, or what's been your biggest takeaway from the first third of this 60-game sprint?
So what I'm seeing, the guys that are really good players, the Mike Trouts and all that stuff, that's fine. They're doing well for the most part. Some guys are struggling, but guys struggle at that level. What I'm seeing is that stretch of time where we would have been able to see some of these young stars develop, they were at home or they were in the gym, they were getting stronger, they were getting high-end reps, doing live BP against the high-end arms, and they've come out with the Blue Jays stars and some of the Padres stars, some of these young, talented kids. You're seeing them kind of take these big leaps that the 3 months would have allowed our eyeballs to see. But they made those jumps that young bodies make. You put on 5 more pounds of mass, well, the ball carries further. You're faster. You're more explosive. You're more confident. And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of the young talent in the league. That they're launching baseballs that maybe they wouldn't have in April because they were able to go get in the gym more.
Yeah. So, and look, I feel like one of the guys you're alluding to there, and he's been all over the headlines lately. ESPN with a piece the other day citing him as the future face of the MLB, and that is Tatis Jr.
Fernando?
Out there. Yeah. What's your take on him? Is he indeed is he on that path to maybe challenge someone like Mike Trout as the face of baseball?
I think he brings a flair to the game, an ease to the game that makes it fun to watch. When guys run faster than the guy next to him and they make it look easy, you gravitate to them. There's gravitas, and he has that. He's also got a guy to his right out on the field in Manny Machado, who's one of the best players in baseball, who's giving him, a little bit of the reins. Hey, man, do this with me. Let's go be the best players in baseball. They've got Hosmer and Will Myers. The Padres are really good right now. And what's really good for them on the development side is that the Dodgers are an all-star team, and they've got to play them a bunch. So they have to strap them on tight and get ready. But Tatis is enormously talented. He's still really young. He plays the shortstop position at an extremely high level. He's not quite where some of these other guys are that are maybe in their late 20s where they're peaking physically. But he is a lot of fun to watch. So, I'm a former big leaguer. I watch certain guys differently.
Yeah.
When the Padres are on and he's in the hole, he's about to hit three hitters later, I keep the TV on.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see what this guy's going to do.
He
makes a play at shortstop. It's like, man, let me rewind that and make my son watch it.
Yeah.
So that he can see what this guy did with his feet.
He's 21 years old.
I mean,
by the way, I didn't realize that January 2nd, 1999 is when Fernando Tatis Jr. was born.
A DB. He looks like a shooting guard. He looks like a shortstop. I mean, he just looks like a natural athlete. Derbs, who's got the best baby blue uniforms in baseball? I got the Rangers, the Royals, the Brewers. The Phillies came out with their baby blues the other night with Nola on the mound versus the Braves that were fantastic. And then the Blue Jays last night went retro with a full baby blue look. You played in that league for 13 years. You've worn retro uniforms. You've worn the baby blues in Philly. Where is the best baby blue Major League Baseball uniform reside?
My opinion there, I picture Bo Jackson and George Brett in Royals powder blue.
Yep.
And for me, that's who jumps off the page in my brain when I think about it. I also think about the Blue Jays in the early 90s when they were winning championships, and Joe Carter's walking off World Series, game 6 or 7 or whatever it was. I mean, that's what I picture. So I begged the Royals, begged their front office, begged them for us to wear those powder blues back in the day, and they never let us do it. So I'm glad these guys are going to do it. Hey, Tatis Jr., his dad, little nugget, his dad hit grand slam. He had two in 1 inning.
Yeah.
What?
I remember, dude. I will never forget. I was in Cutoff, for the Cardinals, I believe. I was in Cutoff, Louisiana, watching this Sports Center as a kid, and I remember sitting there and rewatching the entire hour just to see the highlight again. 2 grand slams in 1 inning. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
If we checked the date, he might have went home and made babies that night.
That's a hell of a celebration.
That was the power that created Tatis Jr.
That's a hell of a celebration.
That's exactly right. It has to be true. Don't let the truth get in the way of this one.
Yeah.
How about this, Derbs? This is pretty cool. So, how the Blue Jays were looking for a home? Well, they found that home in Buffalo, meaning that Major League Baseball, I believe it was yesterday, returned to Buffalo for the first time since September 8th, 1915, when the Buffalo Buffs, I guess, were the pro team there. So, okay, I think that's kind of cool for the town of Buffalo. I think they'll latch on to the Blue Jays, if they aren't already.
Buffalo Bisons. I'm a former Bison. I played in Buffalo for parts of 2 years, and I actually really enjoy it. It's a great city, great people. It's nice to see some baseball getting played up there. I actually played with Lyle Mouton up there.
Wow.
Former Tiger.
Hell yeah.
Louisiana boys in Buffalo, New York. That seems like a fish out of water.
We're looking for some Tony Sacheries to put on anything.
Yes.
Lafayette's
finest, Lyle Mouton. Derbs, it's always great to catch up with you, man. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Good job with everything.
Chad Durbin checking in this morning. We'll close at hour 2 next.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
All-Star Ford brings you OTB daily here. Remember, online, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge is where you can find them. I was over at All-Star Ford yesterday out in Denham Springs.
We love the entirety of the All-Star family.
Absolutely. Nick Richard and that crew out there in Denham Springs is phenomenal, just like Lee Carney and his crew over at All-Star Toyota.
Yep.
All-Star, the brand, right? 13 brands, 11 locations. Part of the All-Star family. I love being a part of the All-Star family. T just joined the team with his Sienna.
Love it.
Remember, you can find them online, allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com.
And look, I hadn't bought a new vehicle in about 10 years, and I was very nervous about it. I was very overwhelmed by it. And All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge really held my hand through the entire process. So shout out to Lee, shout out to Aaron Piku, shout out to my guy Richard, everybody else who helped me find exactly what I need. And now I'm on the road. My family's happy. I'm happy. It's the best. So join me. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Saints are on the practice field, and looks like we're going to have an SEC season. We'll talk about it with Mike D. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, good stuff from Durbs. If you missed it, it's online, 1045ESPN.com. Some love coming for Lyle Mouton inside the huddle. Musso, you way too young probably to remember the Keith Osick, Lyle Mouton days of LSU baseball, but the way that you...
Oh, but the highlights.
But you love the sport. I'd imagine you'd have watched the highlights.
Oh,
that was
but the highlights.
My first memory of LSU baseball growing up will always be my grandfather, Frank Collada, who was a part of the original coaches committee that Skip Burtman put back together in, I believe he put that together in 85. It was very early when he got here. He got here in 82, and he put together a group of local businessmen that were headlined by Richard Lipsy, was the headliner there. But my grandfather was a part of the original coaches committee.
La Familia.
Dr. Coogan was there.
The original kingmaker.
And going to those regionals, because back in the day when LSU was getting regionals in the early 90s, those were, you were celebrating those. We've come to almost become spoiled of regional invitations and berths now as a fan base, but in the early 90s, that was something that you will celebrate. And I'll never forget my grandfather checking me out of school on an early Friday morning to get to game 1 or game 2 of the Friday regional, which LSU was featured in, and coming up the corridor, coming up the ramp of Alec Box Stadium, where you could just see the orange dirt, the red dirt start to peek above your eyes, and see the grass cut and hear the ting of the bat. And it was Lyle Mouton who would smash one. That's one of my first memories of LSU baseball, was hearing that and he knocked it into the Marriage Dorm housing
in left field.
And he had this strut to him when he hit a home run. It was almost like he knew it was gone, and he would kind of bounce out the box. And LSU wore the old Converse cleats that Skip Bertman had to deal with Joe Dean. But Lyle Mouton, Keith Osick, Chad Auger, those LSU early baseball teams were some of my sports favorite memories.
Makes you a bit nostalgic for the innocence of LSU baseball fans at that time.
Absolutely, man.
Right?
Absolutely.
Before you had the pressure of expectation and the weight of 5 natties in 10 years weighing down on you, you were happy with hosting a regional. Everything was probably sunshine and rainbows, whereas now you've reached the point where almost anything you do will fall short.
It was incredible.
Because, unless you win a natty,
it was incredible.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah,
that's where you want to be.
I'm not mentioning it as a bad thing. It's one of the reasons why with last year's.
Look at his strut.
It's one of the reasons why with last year's football season.
He's a power forward for the basketball team too. Skip Bertman went and took him from Dale Brown and said, just like Dale Brown went and took Ben McDonald from him the year before, and said they needed some help on the low post, and Mouton was coming out when he came out. I believe he was a St. Thomas More of Lafayette kid. You may want to check that, but he came out of Lafayette. And he was a dual sport superstar. He was a football player, basketball player, baseball player. When he got to LSU, he played basketball, and then he ended up being a superstar. He was the superstar on that 91 national championship team. I want to say he was a first-round pick of the Chicago White Sox. Ended up having a pretty good career as a Major League Baseball player. But that 91 team, Rich Cordani, Chad Auger, Johnny Telechia, Tookie Johnson. Ron Lim, Andy Sheets. That's as good as it gets, baby. T, have a good third hour.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Yeah, and what I was saying is, it's why we told you to enjoy last football season so much, because that was that fun early 90s period, right? Where you just blew expectations out of the water. Now you have that burden of expectations. Ton of NFL.
That was the 6-team regional.
NBA.
Back then, Moose.
Coming up in OTBOT. Come hang out.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Secure Shredding and Recycling. Remember, online, SecureShreddingandRecycling.com. You can find the boys, Gaines Garrett and his crew over there, Mr. J. Babb. Secure Shredding and Recycling, a premier provider of document destruction services for individuals, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies. Online, SecureShreddingandRecycling.com. This is the entire listening area, whether you're in New Orleans, you're in Lafayette on 98.1 HD2. You're over in Alexandria. Secure Shredding and Recycling can help you today.
That's right. So go to SecureShreddingandRecycling.com. Just Google them. Go check out the site. Ultimately, this is how they broke it down to me, okay? They view themselves as a services business, okay? They are there to serve you. They're local. They're going to manage those relationships better than the national guys. They're going to give you better rates than the national guys. They can bring trucks on site. They have drop-off points. They can bring it back to their own building if it needs that. They do it all. SecureShreddingandRecycling.com.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Thursday, August 13th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see afternoon storms with a high of 91. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Brought to you by Carriages. Coming up here on OTB OT, T-Bob's going to talk some NFL football, give us some tales from the bubble, and we'll also hopefully get into a little college football recruiting as well. Follow today's show by joining us inside the 1045 ESPN Huddle app, brought to you by Bayou Ford on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Set your notifications. New content's posted there daily. OTB OT starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Some product. I'll poof it up. We're looking at Ryan Seacrest's hair right now, and Ryan and Kelly. Seacrest changing it up, quarantine looking full effect. Is there a harder working man in show business than Ryan Seacrest? I feel like ABC trots him out in front of everything. I cannot imagine what his production schedule looks like on a day-to-day basis. Anonymous user, T-Bob, what do the Phoenix Suns have to happen to get into the play-in game, or has Dame locked it up? Let me look at a little NBA standings. I hadn't really considered that. I know that You got to finish within 4 games of that A seed, and the Blazers did move into sole possession of the A seed. Okay, Suns, Grizzlies. Yeah, it looks like right now, I'm not sure who owns the tiebreaker between the Suns and the Grizzlies, but they are tied with the exact same record at 33-39. So obviously a Suns win and a Grizzlies loss would change that and would push the Suns into the play-in scenario where if Portland wins and hold on to the A seed, then the Suns would have to beat Portland 2 times in a row if they want to square up with LA, whereas Portland would have to win just 1 game. Welcome in, though. This is hour number 3. OTB OT. I want to get to some NFL talk. We mentioned the Cowboys getting better earlier. NFL COVID numbers actually very encouraging here early on. Saints opening practice. That's great news. Not so good news. No fans in the Dome. We didn't really get to that yet today. It's a bit of a bummer, but there's still hope that maybe later on there will be. We got some NBA talk to get to, as y'all may or may not realize it. But today, the last game for your New Orleans Pelicans in this topsy-turvy 2019-2020 season. How you feeling, Moose? You a little sad?
I thought their last game was against the Spurs.
Yeah, it essentially was. It was Zion's last game. His rookie year has already been confirmed.
Who didn't see that
as
coming?
His rookie year is already confirmed as being done. So we'll kind of and go ahead and start getting your comments in now, because I'd like to address them when we get to it. But I want to know, as a fan, and not even like as a big fan, a casual fan, even somebody who just kind of gets it through osmosis. I want to know where your head's at. Like, what is your big takeaway from Zion in year 1? Because to me, he is kind of representative of the Pelicans as a whole, where there's obviously a lot of potential. There's a lot of good. There's definitely some things that need to be fixed. But and then the bubble really took the sheen off of a lot of things, not just for Zion, but for the Pelicans as a whole. So we'll kind of do a Big Z year in view as well. I will close out the hour comparing the Big 12, ACC, and SEC to the first Roman triumvirate of Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey. I do this just because it's a fascinating story that I would like to pique people's interest on if you are in to that sort of thing. Before we dive into this hour, though, Musso, I got to say, I think I figured out a slogan for your Red Sox.
Okay.
So you said tank for Kumar, right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
that's terrible.
How is that terrible?
There's no rhyming. There's
Doesn't
no
matter.
alliteration. There's nothing exciting. What about this? Fubar for Kumar. Huh?
No.
Why?
I don't like that.
I've said on that for 15 minutes. Fubar for Kumar? It's awesome. You know what Fubar stands for? Effed up beyond all recognition.
I mean,
what is this Boston Red Sox baseball season? I mean, is that not true?
No, I can't.
Y'all are last
pretty bad.
Y'all are last in the AL.
Yeah, I know.
Were you just champions a couple of years ago? You're last in the AL?
Doesn't feel like it, but yes, they were.
You got Mookie Betts signing long-term deals out in L.A. Fubar.
Easy.
For Kumar. That's the strategy y'all are in. You might as well embrace it, okay? And then I demand my royalties.
I have embraced it.
Once this takes off in Boston.
And if they can't get that number 1 pick, Jaden Hill's not going to be far behind. So if they want to take that, I'm all for that as well.
So it's not 1-to-1 because the Red Sox do win championships. But I mentioned the other day that, like, I kind of came to the realization, like, oh, I'm the idiot that consistently cheers for a bad team, even though I've always judged those idiots. Like in the NFL, like I always wonder who is a New York Jets fan, and like what is the life of a Jets fan? Is it just eternal disappointment? I guess it's the life of like a 60s and 70s Saints fan. But just eternal and unending disappointment. And then I look at myself in the mirror the other day and I'm like, oh, well, that's me with the Pelicans. Well, you're kind of in that boat, Moose, a little bit right now. I mean, last in the AL. Like, I guess this
the Bobby V year was, that was pretty bad.
This is Bobby Valentine. All I ever just him sneaking back in the locker room.
I mean, that's fantastic.
With the fake mustaches.
Awful.
It's unbelievable.
Awful manager for the Red Sox.
So I guess here's the question to know if you are one of those broken human being sports fans. They got the Yankees this weekend. As you said, they will likely get swept. Will you watch all those games?
I watched all of the last 3.
Wow.
Well, I didn't watch all of Sunday. I caught a little bit of
But
the
you're at
Sunday
least
games.
having it on in the background. Even I started to bail on the Pelicans to the end where, like, like the other day, I was like, look, I'm not committing my full attention to this game. I'm going to do some caulking in the backyard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep it on. If they make it exciting, I'll dive back in. But
Sundays are tough right now because once Yellowstone comes on at 8, my attention's on that.
Man, everybody loves Yellowstone.
It's fantastic.
Hold on to that because I think I want to do a special edition full stream ahead because I have a couple shows as well that I have been watching lately that I think bear mentioning that our viewers and listeners may be into. Shout out to everybody, by the way, for subscribing to the Off the Bench YouTube. Pushes over 10K. Tomorrow, we're going to eat some really hot wings, hottest we can find on air. If you have any suggestions about who has the hottest wings, hit us up with those as well. So the NFL open camp yesterday, though, boys. Musso, Danny, how'd y'all feel seeing like pictures of actual NFL practice start to grace your timeline?
It was fantastic.
It felt great, didn't it?
It really, I mean, it felt normal. It felt like a sense of normalcy in very non-normal, unnormal, whatever the proper word is, their times.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite dynamics of yesterday is like, obviously these beat reporters who, they cover these teams so in depth, they're not allowed to practice because of COVID concerns, right? And so that led to like Nick Underhill pawing through, I think it was like 174 practice pictures and trying to form some sort of conclusions from them. And look, there's a couple interesting tidbits. Andrews Pete with the new contract looks like he took the offseason seriously. My guy's looking slim. He's looking trim. He's looking like he's ready to go. No surprise here, but Tommy Stevens, not in a quarterback jersey, wearing a black jersey. But, I mean, if you talk to anybody that covers this team, I would say that is to be expected. Tommy Stevens was not drafted to play quarterback. You got Winston. You got Hill. By the way, pretty cool seeing Jameis Winston in a Saints uniform yesterday. I just thought that was such an interesting visual. Also, another guy who looked very slim and trim. One of the, like, when you're talking about preseason battles that are interesting as well, backup quarterback is near the top of that list. So watching these two go toe-to-toe throughout this preseason period, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. It felt good yesterday.
Tommy Stevens, he got that special glove. Have you saw that? I mean,
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, yeah.
Yes, so he doesn't have to tape his fingers. They have custom made him a glove where on his non-throwing hand, the two fingers that he injured last year, his pinky and his ring finger, they will stay together, which is
pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Look, those equipment managers, they can pull off anything like that. I mean, especially in the NFL, dude. Anything you need, they got you. But yeah, super convenient. Never having to tape your hands again. Obviously, you can tell we're a little starved for actual eyes on the football because we're breaking down Taysom Hill's custom gloves.
I also like how
but
even
it feels
the veterans,
good.
Like also even the veterans have their name on the tape across their helmets.
Do the rookies not have theirs?
I don't know. I mean, Jameis Winston has. Does anyone really not know who Jameis Winston is?
No,
out there
is something.
Does Drew Brees have Breeze across his helmet?
There is something that's wonderfully kind of like junkyard dog about it, right? It's exactly. That's camp. And it's going to be a tough one. So it felt good, dude. It felt really good. As we said, though, in other NFL news, I talked about it earlier, so I don't want to stay on it too long. But if you missed it, Everson Griffin did sign with the Dallas Cowboys, which is a big pickup for the Cowboys. They got him at 1 year, $6 million. That's super cheap. And now they team him up with DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, 1 year, $6 million for a guy that had 8 sackles. He had 8 sacks last year and 11 tackles for loss. Like, that's a great price. And so I think the Cowboys got better yesterday. But I do think the Saints don't mind as much as they thought they would because I believe that they believe in Marcus Davenport. So it was a good day. It was a good day yesterday. You had a lot of good news, but there was some disappointing news. And that was that the New Orleans Saints went ahead and confirmed that there will be no fans in the Superdome on September 13th, which is obviously a huge bummer because that is the day which, wow, we're a month away. It's August 13th. Oh, my God, I just looked up. It's August 13th. Let's go. You just live in the moment. You keep your head down, and we're hurtling toward this thing. But on September 13th, yeah, we're going to get Brady versus Breeze in the Dome. It just sucks because officially no one's going to be able to watch it. And then the Saints week 2 will go to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, that brand new, beautiful stadium, right? Well, nobody's going to be in the stadium to watch that. It's been confirmed. They'll then return home to take on Aaron Rodgers, another Hall of Fame matchup, 2 Hall of Fame matchups in the first 3 weeks. And, well, unfortunately, it's looking like it's not 100% confirmed, but it's looking like no one's going to be in the stands to watch that one either. So, I think there's one of two ways that you can approach this story. Well, first off, damn you, Aaron Rodgers, for getting out of the Dome because you should have had to deal with that dome field advantage, but that's fine. But I think there's one of two ways that you can approach this, and you can either be, you can kind of lament and cry and complain about what could have been, because when I look at this home schedule, obviously the headliners are Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady. I have no problem calling those three future Hall of Famers. Then you throw in, I don't know, is Matt Ryan? Is he a Hall of Fame potential?
Well, potentially, I guess. I don't know. But it's just the rivalry anyway with the Falcons.
Yes, then you got the rivalry with the Falcons, but the Matt Ryan, that's another. I'm just trying to think, like, how many future Hall of Famers are on this list? You would have had the Vikings come to the Dome for some potential revenge. You would have had another shot at the Niners at the Dome to make up for last season. So and then you got Teddy Bridgewater returning to the Dome as well. So this is, quite frankly, the best home schedule I've ever seen from a spectator standpoint. And so, yes, it is a huge bummer that fans can't be there. But like I said, you can approach it one of two ways, and I'm choosing to approach this optimistically, right? Any football is better than no football, especially with the very tenuous nature of where college football stands right now. I don't give a damn if nobody's allowed in that building September 13th, as long as I can watch Brady and Breeze line up across from each other. Watch Tom Brady throw to Rob Gronkowski in a Tampa Bay Buccaneer uniform. How odd is that going to be? I'm in. Watch Alvin Kamara and his make-or-break year. Is he going to go to the next level? Will Marcus Davenport fulfill that potential? Cam Jordan, can he continue to get even better? Another guy's potential Hall of Famer? Yeah, look, no fans. It sucks. It's a brutal beat for the Saints. It takes away a lot of advantages they would have had with this schedule, but it is what it is. It's what everybody's dealing with. Who cares? And look, if the numbers get better in the state, it is just an equation. It's not like there's no opinion here. They just they have to reach a threshold. If the numbers get better, then maybe there can be fans there by the time Mahomes comes to town. But not September 13th. But it's all good because football is football, like we said. All right, when we get back, let's talk about Zion's year in review. Supposed to do a little full stream ahead here on OTB-OT.
OTB-OT. Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After Further Review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. Tonight we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar from 6 to 8 p.m. Come down to North Boulevard and say hello or listen here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. OTB OT, last hour of the show here. Off the bench. I'm going to touch on a little NBA here. Give you a little full stream ahead. Still look forward to our story about the triumvirate at the end of the hour as well. As I said, it matters. Okay. The fact that you have these three standing together matters. Having a majority in the Power 5 wanting to play matters. It helps them fight against the potential PR hit of playing when you have other conferences that has decided for medical reasons they should not play. But yeah, today, it may feel kind of weird, but today officially marks the end of the New Orleans Pelicans season. And what an up and down, mostly bleak season it was. Terrible start, 6-22. After an incredible preseason, Zion gets hurt. He misses the beginning. You lose 13 games in a row at one point. You had a nice middle, right? You had a nice middle where you kind of came roaring back and you won some games. And the schedule was about to get easier and it looked like everything was lining up. And then the shutdown came. And one thing about this shutdown that we've talked about in multiple different ways is that this shutdown is unprecedented. And it's also an equal playing field, right? This shutdown presents a lot of the same, or it presents the same question to all these different leaders, to all these different organizations, or the same problem. And so watching these different leaders and organizations try to figure it out and try to have success in this current setting, I think a lot of times has exposed leadership as being good or bad, or at least exposed the ability of leadership to react to things that are unknown, right? And it's why like Adam Silver gets applauded and somebody like Rob Manfred, although baseball seems to be finding their level a bit, why Rob Manfred got criticized a lot. I guess I say all of this to say that although there was so much positivity with the Pelicans and so much momentum when the shutdown happened, ultimately they failed the leadership test. It just, I mean, there's no two ways about it. I did not think that anything you could do in the bubble would carry ramifications this long. Like, I did not think that if the Pelicans did not make the 9 seed or not win, I didn't think that people would really care, that it would matter. But they also ended up being far worse in the bubble than I ever thought they would have been. And so because of that, despite having the easiest schedule of anybody in the bubble, you play terrible. You lose 2 games to the Kings. You finish 2-5. They could end up being 2-6. And you have to ask real questions about leadership. And Scott Kushner, who we just talked to last week, he did that. And his article today is titled that, it's time for the New Orleans Pelicans to move on from Alvin Gentry. And he makes very good points. We won't go too much into the article. One of the key points, you missed the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. In the sport where over 50% of the league makes the playoffs. Like, I'm sorry, but at a certain point, that's just unacceptable, free of any context. Yes, Alvin Gentry has not always got dealt a fair hand of cards, right? A lot of injuries early on, the AD drama that he had to deal with AD forcing himself out and essentially holding out, and then being held out to protect their best asset. It's just, he had to deal with a lot, right? But the bottom line is that in sports, results are the ultimate deciding factor. And the results just speak to clearly missing the playoffs 4 out of 5 years is not acceptable. And it's funny, but although I didn't think the bubble was that big of a deal, the bubble does seem to be the final piece of the puzzle. I love this quote from Scott Kushner's piece. The performance during the NBA's restart provided irrefutable evidence. On Gentry's watch, the Pelicans were lethargic, uninspired, and unaccountable. They were blasted in the opening minutes of nearly every outing and eliminated just 6 games after their ballyhooed arrival. How accurate is that? And maybe that's one of the most frustrating parts is, look, making a mistake, this is just like a classic sports mantra for any of you kids listening out there. Making mistakes is fine, man. That is what it is, okay? That's just being human. What coaches want to see is, do you learn from those mistakes? Can you correct those mistakes? Can you avoid making the same mistakes twice? And the most damning part of the Pelicans in this bubble, it's just what Scott touched on there. How can you come out every game and start so poorly? Start so lethargically? Do you have no passion? So, yeah, Alvin Gentry, he's got to go. He will go. How do y'all feel? I'll bring y'all in now. What are your takeaways on Zion year number 1? Thumbs up, thumbs down, season in review. How do you feel, a future transcendent superstar, how do you feel it went with him year 1?
Well, you're not going to like my answer because my thumb's more in the middle. I don't think I know because you didn't get to see enough. He was hurt the majority of the year.
Yeah.
He came back, was on the minutes restriction, looked great in his first couple games, really started to seem like he was finding his stride. Then the season gets shut down.
Yeah.
So you don't see him for, 5 months. Comes back in the bubble, has to leave for the family emergency. Comes back, he's back on the minutes restriction. You don't really see him. He doesn't look to be in the best shape. Definitely not the shape he was in the couple weeks prior to them leaving to the bubble that they were posting the pictures
I know,
of.
dude, that picture he looked like. And granted, when you're in the weight room, you can look super jacked, but it looked starkly different.
But he didn't even look like he was in the shape that he did prior to the shutdown. Like when he was starting to find his stride.
And all it takes is 2 weeks. Like, I don't know what he was dealing with, and that's where I feel really bad. And, sometimes life can just be kind of cruel, right? Because here he was on the precipice of this stage where they're lining him up in the bubble to be on national television every single day, basically, and then he has to go deal with something that was obviously very serious, and who knows where his head was at. Like, was he working out? Like, there's all kind of studies that show if you go 2 weeks without working out, you lose muscle mass very quickly. So, yeah, kind of like a lot of the Gentry era, just another bad break that ended up affecting the Pelicans to a kind of undue extent.
Yeah. So I feel like you just haven't really seen all of it yet. You saw the glimpses, and the glimpses are promising. So that would make me lean more towards a thumbs up than a thumbs down.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can get back into peak shape and stay healthy, and you can have him for a full season. You can actually see what the number 1 draft pick is able to do for you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I almost feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because on one hand, like I said, I believe that someone like Alvin Gentry should absolutely be held accountable for the terrible performance in the NBA bubble. But on the other hand, I'm willing to extend the benefit of the doubt to someone like Lonzo Ball. I'm willing to extend the benefit of the doubt to Zion Williamson. I think the key difference is I feel like Alvin Gentry has had time, not just in New Orleans, but throughout his entire career, and you can clearly see the type of head coach that he is. I think Lonzo Ball's 22 years old still. Well, I know he is. But, he has a ton of room to improve. I loved his quotes about taking on, owning his poor performances and knowing that he's going to internalize that and then use it to get better. Same thing with Zion Williamson. Like you said, Musso, even with and the bad parts about the bubble, it does all have to do with, his body, and he looked like he lacked a little bit of explosiveness. Didn't come up with a single block or steal, despite leading the ACC in steals last year. being 6th in blocks. Not one is kind of crazy. Got out-rebounded consistently. But those are things that you can fix. Those are things that you can work on. Rebounding in the NBA is a savvy veteran man's game. Like he'll figure out the angles. He'll figure out how to body guys. What you can't always figure out is just the natural ability to score. And when you look at what he did in year one, let's not make light of it because it was pretty unreal. Remember the names that he was being accompanied with and the records that he was saying. He was like Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal. Well, how about this? He averaged 22.5 points per game this year in just 27 minutes on 58% shooting. He scored an average of 16.8, but 17 points in the paint every single game. That was second in the NBA to one player, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's at 17.5. So he almost led the NBA in points in the paint per game despite the knee injury, despite the family emergency, despite all of this nonsense. So let's just be clear. Today, the Pelicans will play in a meaningless game that means nothing, okay? And it feels really bad right now. But with Zion, with the all-star Brandon Ingram, who's maybe the most improved player in the NBA, I still believe in Lonzo Ball. You got the vet J.J. Redick around for another year. Jackson Hayes' potential looks through the roof. The future remains very bright. And so don't be such a slave to the moment that you lose sight of the bigger picture. Overall, I don't think it's crazy to call Zion's first year a disappointment because in many ways it was. I also don't think that disappointment has much bearing on the future of his career or of this franchise. We'll see. Coming up next, more OTBOT.
OTBOT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Yo, join us for a Thursday edition of Hanging with Hester and Handy presented by Richards Honda. We'll be joined by former national championship coach, now part of the SEC Network, Gene Chizik, on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You got Jarrett. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB OT. So we are trying to parse through this. I've been using the word parse too much. I got to stop. I've been saying interesting too much. I've been saying another one too much as well. I hate when I do that. So thank you. People have called me out. Thank you for calling me out. You say massive all the time. I still do, but not as much. Sometimes you got to be called out. You can be blind to it. But Football Scoop just released the Pac-12 medical report. It's about 12 pages long. I'm going to read through the entire thing. Thus far, it's pretty much, from what I've read, it's everything I've come to expect. But that should give us some further insight, not only into what the Pac-12 was thinking when they made this decision, but how these other three conferences, if they want to continue kind of the narrative and the information that they are going to have to stand up against. But right now, I want to talk some recruiting as LSU continues to kill it in 2022. Picked up a big-time commitment in Sean Washington from Warren Easton yesterday. Continued to recruit in the age of pandemic. And right now, I'm welcoming my guy, Jarrett Roser, TigerDetails.com, Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett, what's going on, man?
Hey, T-Bob. Not too much, man. How you making out?
Doing well. Just like we said, a lack of college football news yesterday was, that's good news, right? I mean, a holding pattern of sort. Having the Big 12 be the swing vote that says we'll continue to play for now, I think that's good news, Jared. But let's talk about recruiting. First, let's just start with the commitment of Sean Washington, 2022, number one class now. Like as a recruiting guy, how do you interpret managing your excitement around something that is still so far off?
Yeah, it's always, trying to factor in how fluid recruiting can be, always makes some of these early commitments kind of interesting to see exactly, how seriously take it, because we've seen guys decommit, and I know there are a lot of fans that are kind of skeptical when guys commit a year or so early. But at the same time, we've seen guys who really do stick with it, and I think it certainly shows that there's a great position right now for LSU with a top prospect like Sean Washington and the other guys who are members of this class. And Sean's a guy that I think you can feel really confident about the commitment lasting for him, just knowing him for a while and knowing the admiration he has for the LSU program and representing the home state and having seen some of the success of defensive linemen going through Baton Rouge. When LSU offered a few months ago, it was an immediate game changer for him. And talking to him kind of privately, you could tell that it was very likely that it was a landing spot for him if it was there for him. And so I haven't been surprised as Julie, Jimmy, Sam, and I kept in contact with him throughout the summer and realized he was getting close to this decision. And I think it's certainly one that he intends to keep, even though it isn't an early decision and there's a long time before he can ever officially sign. His heart is certainly in Baton Rouge.
Well, what's interesting about that, Jarrett, is like those type of guys, if they are indeed that solid that early on, like they can kind of become recruiting pieces in and of themselves, right? Like if he's that on board, do you think every time we talk to these young kids, they're always talking about like their, whatever, like these group texts, everything else that they're involved in. Do you think he'll actively be recruiting for that 2022 class?
Yeah, I think in his way he will, particularly with the guys that he knows around the New Orleans area that, if LSU becomes an opportunity for some more of them, that Sean won't be shy about saying, this is the place to be, there's great things happening, and we're trying to kind of keep that train moving sort of thing. And you're right. If you have a guy that feels passionately about that commitment and is comfortable being vocal about it, and we've seen it some with DeColdis Crawford, the wide receiver up in Shreveport area, yep. and now I know Walker Howard for this class in Lafayette has some big plans in mind of turning this into a really great class and bringing in some key weapons around him, I guess, on both sides of the ball, really. But certainly looking to add to that wide receiver group that'll be coming in 2022. And so there are some great talented prospects already on board for 2022, and several of them, particularly the in-state guys, are guys that I think will be in the ears of some of their peers.
Yeah, and so 2022 already, 6 commits, 5 of them in the top 250. You are the number one class in 2022 for whatever that's worth right now. In 2021, I feel like LSU, the rankings right now, I mean, they're still top 10, obviously. I'm seeing that they're at 7 right now. That could depend on what service you look at. But the 2021 class has a ton of quality, right? They have a ton of quality, and they have a couple big pieces out there that could push them over the top. The big one is Mason Smith. Julie Boudouin's been on top of this for Tiger Details. We talked to her about Mason Smith recently. Are there any updates on the Mason Smith front?
Yeah, I mean, Julie is probably as close to the Mason situation, is certainly as close to the Mason situation as any recruiting writer, and is about as close to the situation as any of us ever are to, some of our best relationships with guys through the years.
Yeah.
And I know she feels really good about the relationship that's there with Mason and O and Christian Lacouture, and I mean, really just the program as a whole in Baton Rouge. And so I think we kind of see him ending up in this class. Obviously, he has a wealth of options and a wealth of great options, and so you can't take anything for granted. But I think that the way that LSU and O have prioritized him and what he's seen, similar to what I was saying with Sean, with some of the success that can be had in Baton Rouge, it all really appeals to him. And he is the big fish, certainly in the state, and the big fish remaining out there for this LSU class, as well as they've done in the defensive front seven. I think Mason is crucial, and I think he kind of appreciates that, that impact that they see for him and that role that they see for him in this already good class.
I mean, damn, dude. But if you get Mason Smith, I mean, along with the other guys that you got committed, who you had come in last class, and now Sean Washington, like that defensive line, it seems like Coach O knows where he butters his bread throughout the years. Like the defensive line for LSU is starting to feel like it could get back to some of those early and mid 2000s defensive lines that Saban put together.
No doubt. Early on in O's tenure as head coach, Jimmy and I looked, and there was, I guess it was after Ishmael Sopsher ended up in Alabama. That class we looked at as they had not had the success recruiting up front on defense that we anticipated when O took the reins. But since that point, they've just crushed it. And as much as we were kind of waiting to see, all right, when is O and the LSU defensive line recruiting effort going to turn that corner, and they've turned it hard and have not looked back and just keep building and building.
Jarrett Roser At Jarrett Roser on Twitter, TigerDetails.com. Louisiana versus all y'all, always repping the boot. Jarrett, you been watching anything on TV lately? I'm trying to help our listeners out so they don't end up in that terrible hole where you and your wife watch 2 hours worth of previews and then you just go to bed because you've wasted all your time.
That's the worst with Netflix. I've been rewatching some sitcoms, just kind of throwing on like Scrubs or New Girl or Blackish or something in the background. And I know Sopranos was on my agenda when all the quarantine hit, and I kind of stalled on it, but I need to get back into that and watch it because I've actually never watched Sopranos.
Neither have I. I should probably do that as well. Also, I've heard New Girl is very good, so maybe I'll check it out. Jarrett Roser, at Jarrett Roser on Twitter, Danny9. He said, Jarrett, thank you so much, man.
No problem, T-Love, anytime, man.
All right, take it easy. All right, we will wrap up with college football's brand new triumvirate and how it compares to its ancient Roman counterpart next here on OTBOT.
OTBOT.
The AL East leading New York Yankees face off again against their longtime rival, the Boston Red Sox.
Coverage begins Saturday afternoon at 5:30 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is big. Really big. I mean, really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Saints are on the practice field, and looks like we're going to have an SEC season. We'll talk about it with Mike D. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What up? Okay, real quick before we get to our triumvirate stuff. Things we learned today. Sackle should be the term for a half sack. Are y'all into that? It's not bad?
Hard pass.
That was a nice sackle there by Cam Jordan.
No.
Speaking of sack, full disclosure, I hit my sleep alarm about 1,000 times today. What I'm going to get to next is what I created, or wrote while I was drinking bourbon late into the night. But I woke up really late today. It's why I immediately hopped out of bed. I got dressed, no underwear, right? Just speed, getting out the house. Got to work. About halfway through the show, if you're watching on YouTube, you might have seen my face go white. It's because I'd reached down and realized that, this happens in most of my shorts and pants. I have very thick thighs. They rub together constantly. I have rubbed a hole in the crotch of my pants. Meaning, boys, that if this desk was not here, y'all two would have been getting full sackle the entire show.
Well, I'm very happy that the desk is there.
Yep. So is the internet. So is the FCC. Honestly, so am I. I'm not someone who wants those kind of images out there. It's if you're listening, golden rule, never send pictures of your genitals anywhere because the internet is for life. Your genitals will be written in virtual stone, right? Like some sort of statue in a museum, but much easier to access by anybody. They'll live there forever. Also, little full stream ahead. The Kevin James YouTube channel. Very fun. Y'all boys know I've been watching after the show.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
I've been on this Kevin James YouTube channel. Can't stop watching. You betcha. Midwestern Funny Guy YouTube channel. And then Dave, the Little Dicky Show. Anything else? Anything y'all want to tell the people to watch?
Go watch Yellowstone.
Okay, Yellowstone. That's right. You keep getting on that. And then you, Danny, what have you been watching lately?
A lot of King of the Hill recently.
Oh, wow. Okay, Danny, a little old school.
It's pretty good. Like, it's underrated as a show.
It's very underrated, and the reason being is because as a kid, you don't get it at all.
That's true.
You cannot relate with King of the Hill when you're a kid at all. Like, I remember kind of watching it and being like, oh, I like this, but I felt like I was just saying I like it because I knew it had some, like, it felt like The Simpsons and stuff, and I felt like I needed to like it in order to be cool. But as an adult, you really start to appreciate the genius of Hank Hill and his commitment to propane and everything else. One of my favorite episodes ever is when he's like starts buying like organic steak and he's like, "What the hell? Like, this is amazing. This is so much better." But yeah, great. And Bobby. I mean, how could you not love Bobby Hill? All right. How did I not even realize that in college football yesterday, a new triumvirate had been formed? We talked about this earlier in the process. And we were speaking on maybe the Big 12, ACC, and SEC getting together for interconference games. Well, now instead of interconference games, it seems that they've teamed up to keep college football alive. But this is not the first triumvirate. No. For that, we have to go all the way back to the 60s BC. Okay, we're talking over 2,000 years ago, before Christ. We got to go back to the times of Julius Caesar, of Pompey, of Crassus. If you don't know these names, these are three of the most powerful men of their time that essentially teamed up to rule Rome, right? They took advantage of a republic system and used their own personal power to divvy it up as they saw fit. In these three, I mean, you want to talk about a cast of characters? In these three, you have the greatest general of his time, Pompey, a man who defeated the Poison King, Mithridates, who, Poison King's an awesome book as well. He defeated the Cilician pirates. He defeated, like, his glories. At that point, he was established. He was the Bill Belichick of his era, the greatest general in all of Rome. In Crassus, you had one of the wealthiest and probably seediest men in all of Rome, a slumlord who, listen how greasy this is. Crassus would get his men to start fires in low-rent apartments, burn them down, and then buy them at super reduced rates after they had burned down, only then start charging rent again. A truly exploitative slumlord who once said that you only can be counted as being rich if you can fund an entire army with your personal wealth. And then in Julius Caesar, you had someone not as established, but just as fascinating, a young, rising politician, a man who stood up to Imperator Sulla during the proscriptions, a man beloved of the people, bursting with limitless energy, astronomical ambition. The ultimate, this is why it's so funny, it kind of parallels to this college football alliance. It's the ultimate alliance of people who absolutely do not have the same end goals. Like Rome's entire culture is built on ambition. It's built on there being one great person. They didn't have the same end goals, but they saw the wisdom of teaming up together in pursuit of their own goals. Reminds me a lot of the Big 12, ACC, and SEC. Now the question is, where did these three end up? Where will these three conferences end up? Crassus, the slumlord, rich as he was, richest man maybe in all of Rome, he died in a foolhardy attempt to win glory against the Parthians. Didn't even have to. Just wanted a campaign, funded an army, wanted a campaign, Pompey's getting all this love. Julius Caesar's getting love for his conquests in Gaul. He wanted a piece of that action. Everybody just viewed him as a real estate guy. He wanted to be a military guy. He got his ass killed in Parthia like a dummy. What about Pompey? Bill Belichick, the greatest general of his time. What happened to him? He died in Egypt on the run from Julius Caesar following a civil war. He was disembarking from a rowboat when he was betrayed by the very people he was with, beheaded like he was a nobody on the beach alone. In fact, when Caesar figured out what happened to him, he actually killed the people that killed Pompey, despite the fact that Caesar himself was trying to kill Pompey. Okay, well, what happened to Julius Caesar, right? Surely he had a happy ending. Yeah, I mean, look, he went on to rule the world for a brief moment before he too was killed by treachery and betrayal. Although his legacy is such that he laid the path for his nephew Octavian to become Augustus and to create this empire that lasted for hundreds and hundreds of years. I'm not sure if these fates tie in with college football at all. If they do, then dark times are ahead. I don't think it does. But I just love this entire story. And if this has piqued your interest at all, it is filled with fascinating characters, sex, violence, intrigue, different environments, right? You're in Egypt 1 second, Rome, Gaul, you're all over the world, and many lessons to be learned about the ends that we all come to, no matter how powerful or rich we may be. If any of this has piqued your interest, go check out Rubicon, The Last Years of the Roman Republic. It's a great first step into this story. Also, the HBO show Rome, very good as well. Very good as well. So we have a college football triumvirate that echoes the triumvirates of the past. Shout out to you, Matthew Musso. Great job producing. You too as well, Danny Carnez, and you too, all of our wonderful listeners. We'll see you tomorrow.
OTB, OT.